Welcome into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And it is going to be a busy, busy day. Darian Newsom producing for us. And a lot of Olympics, a lot of Major League Baseball, a lot of football to talk about. A little bit of everything today over these next 3 hours. But, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Brian. We do have a lot to discuss today, including the NCAA at its very best, didn't it?
Yes.
Threw the book at old Jim Harbaugh, didn't they?
Yes.
Nothing to do with Connor Stallions.
I love that at the end, because when I first saw it, I saw the notifications, all the tweets coming out when it was breaking, and I was like, okay, interesting, but I guess, new information about Connor Stallions, just go ahead and do something, even though it means absolutely nothing, because the likelihood of him returning to college football is extremely slim, closer to no chance than it is to a chance. And so then I opened it to tell John about it because it broke right during his show, and as I'm reading the tweet to John, I get to the last sentence, this has nothing to do with Connor Stallions, which is just incredible.
Just imagine when they tack that on.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he may never be able to coach college football ever again.
It's not show cause. It's waterboarded at Gitmo, isn't it?
That's right, yes. A whole year suspension after half a year suspension last year between the 3 games at the beginning, 3 games at the end of the season.
For the absolute unforgivable extra practice time during the vid.
That's right, yes. Doing anything during COVID gets you
outside.
That's right.
20-year-olds.
That's right.
That was real dangerous.
Very, Brett. I mean, as you know, can't take those risks.
Yeah, can't take those, and they're going to show him.
That's right, and they sure did. Good Lord. It's one of the funnier things I saw.
So what do you think they will tack on for whatever it comes to Connor Stallions with the show cause? This is through 2028, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. 4 years, so yeah, that would be 2028.
So he couldn't coach now until opening day 2029, right?
He could with the show cause. I mean, he could technically coach. They just have to, provide, enough information or enough documentation.
Something the NCAA loves even more is more paperwork. More bureaucracy.
Yes.
More bean counters.
Right. More anything.
Here, justify your existence in your job.
Exactly. So, but yes, the show cause runs out. The next time he would, likely be able to coach college football would be 2028. But,
So they tack on 2 more with Stallions?
Well, I don't know, Brad. I mean, if we're throwing 4-year show calls because of vid, man, I don't know what Connor Stallions might get.
Well, typical of the NCAA, that would be about 6 months.
Yes, you're right. Yes, that would be much shorter than
because they view one so much more than the other.
You're absolutely
But let's just say they tacked on 2 more.
Sure. Okay.
So he can't coach until without a lot of restrictions and jump through a lot of hoops till 2030. I hope he's coaching somewhere opening day that year. I'll be the biggest fan of that team.
That'd be great.
I'm so glad they won it. And I hope, I alluded to yesterday, and Michigan's the one that can. They can slap around little old Ole Miss and little old Memphis all they want.
Absolutely.
And they can really make the cream cheese on the bagel the big deal at some of these places. But taking on Michigan's another story.
Yo, that's right.
This is Big Blue. This is Hail to the Victors.
Yeah.
This is that helmet, that fight song.
Yeah, no, it's a different game.
When they call Michigan and say, we want the trophies and we want the banners back. No, we're not going to.
No chance.
We're not taking anything down.
No chance.
You come take it down.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Start a war with the NCAA.
You come take it down. Come get our trophy.
I like it.
Please, Michigan, do it.
Yeah.
And even Ohio State, and I know they're not, we all should be in solidarity with them.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm with you, but I don't know if that day's coming.
And then after Michigan says, no, we're not taking anything down, you're not getting any trophy, the next day, 2008 national runner-up should go up at FedEx Forum.
I'm all for that. To get that banner up, I will.
And then the next day, everywhere across college football, let's quit making the media guides a jigsaw puzzle with asterisks and what used to be the number symbol, now hashtag symbol for this game was reversed because of illegal player. This game, both teams. No, we just go back to what happened on the field, and that's the victor.
Yes, that'd be nice. 'Cause you're right. It gets tricky looking at those and what games happened, what games didn't happen.
I don't trust anybody's game notes anymore.
Well, I don't blame you because it is
all-time record,
wild.
54 to
Sure.
31, and then you read deeper and no, on the field it was like 56 to 30 with 2 ties.
Sure, yeah, and it's just all gone because of whatever happened. So yeah, I would.
But we all felt good at the NCAA.
Sure, of course, yes, they got the
Pinhead
the laugh,
Central.
yes. So that was interesting this morning. And just tack on something else on top of the Connor Stallions situation going on
around
up there.
the Chargers building today. Of the conversation about it, which I would imagine very limited.
Very limited.
Do you think it was met with laughter?
Yes, I do. The type of person that I
Hey, Coach,
see,
NCAA really showed you today.
The what I see of Jim Harbaugh, which I figure is what you get. I feel like, yes, he probably had a good laugh when he saw them. I'm sure, some player ops guy comes over during practice and says, "Hey, Coach, I just want to let you know NCAA is giving you a 1-year suspension and 4-year show." And he probably was like, "What?" And then I'm sure, had a good laugh.
Okay, 7:07 on this end of the field. Let's go.
All right. Let's get ready for our preseason game.
Darren, when he was coach of your beloved 49ers, did you love him?
Absolutely. Nobody had it better than us. Absolutely.
And that is his saying. And
Yes,
he really coined that, I think, from their youth
Yeah.
With his dad.
with their dad.
Yeah, no. So that was an interesting story. I actually saw, and I didn't know about this beforehand, but I saw a video the other day, and I don't remember who it was interviewing him, and he was talking about when he was at the University of San Diego. And
The Toreros.
Yeah, correct. And they had a rivalry with Dayton. And he made
Wait a second.
yes,
Wait a second.
they said
Old
Dayton.
Okie Bucket?
I guess so. And I'll be honest, didn't even know Dayton played football.
John Gruden's alma mater.
Really?
Quarterback there,
I had
yes.
no idea.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Did I just violate a talk radio
You might have.
rule by mentioning John Gruden and Jim Harbaugh in the same conversation?
That is
They're
almost
verboten, aren't they?
sacrilegious. They are. So he made a flag for this rivalry and just made it for the team. It was like, look, we won the game last year, so it's only right that we have the flag. Let's get fired up.
Like the Battle of the Bones?
Yeah, we're going to go for it again this year. And so they play Dayton again, and like the whole game, it's like sitting there, and after the game's over, they win. The players are like flying the flag around and like celebrating. He goes to center field and start talking to the coach. He's like, "Yeah, great game. I'm sure you're probably wondering what that is that the whole team is
I
running
concocted
around
a
with."
rivalry.
It's like, I decided since we have this great rivalry, we would make a flag, and since we won it last year, we'll just keep it. But if y'all win, y'all are more than welcome to have the flag, and we can maybe start something." He never lost to Dayton while he was at San Diego.
Is that
so
right?
Never gave up the flag.
Now, the best part of that story would be the Dayton coach telling him, you can stick that flag with the sun doesn't
Exactly.
shine. That's what
Especially
you can do with that
after a
blankety-blank
loss.
flag.
Yes.
But that's how it starts.
Oh,
I mean,
of course,
I mean,
yeah.
that's how the little brown jug
Wonder
probably
what-
got its beginning.
I wonder where that flag is now. I wonder if
I don't know.
if it's still flying somewhere. That'd be.
And it's why I love what people have done with some of these rivalries. A good friend of mine and of our show, David Basil at the Buzz in Little Rock, totally out of whole cloth after Arkansas joined SEC, started and created the trophy of the Battle of the Boot.
Oh wow!
It's Arkansas and Louisiana and a gigantic boot,
It's massive.
and trophy. And I don't think LSU has embraced it nearly as much as Arkansas. But it's getting closer.
Sure.
It's building, and David got crushed by people when he did it. And friends of mine, and I told them then, I said, no, look, I mean, everything has a beginning.
Sure, absolutely.
And the old Oak and Bucket started somewhere. The Egg Bowl started somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
The gold hat they put on at the OU Texas game started somewhere.
Yeah.
You give it time, and now 30 plus years later, the Battle of the Boots had some traction.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. Wow, I didn't know that. That's a great story. So yeah, I mean, everything's got to start somewhere. But
speaking of which,
okay,
did you know? And they're playing right now, and I think today's game decides the season total.
Okay.
The Astros and the Rangers play for the silver boot.
Really?
Heard it on baseball this morning.
Had no idea.
MLB Network
what
this
does
morning.
the silver boot look like?
Well, I hope they weren't kidding and they had one on me, but they were talking about the Astros and Rangers play for the silver boot. And Mark DeRosa, just said, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
No
absolutely.
big leaguer, not one, is going to get into kind of these college
no chance.
hijinks.
Huh. Interesting. They sure do.
It's for real?
Yeah, looking to take the silver boot title from the Astros for the first time since 2016.
Season win total.
Mm-hmm.
See, at first I thought Robert Flores, because he's a wise guy and a good and funny guy, good
Sure.
and very good on that show. Their chemistry's great. DeRosa, Robert Flores, and Lauren Schott, and the information that pours out of it. So then when you hesitated, I thought, well, maybe he was joking. But Mark DeRosa's reply was like, maybe in rehearsals they had discussed it, and he said, no big league player I know would care anything about that.
This is awesome. I had no idea. I'm looking. There is a actual trophy, is what I just read, and I want to.
Now I'm with Mark DeRosa. I don't think any big leaguer would put that in the clubhouse and walk by and go,
"Oh wow,
yeah,
that's beautiful."
Yeah, winners of the silver boot this year.
Wow, that is good looking.
No, I'm thinking about the silver trash can if it's the Houston Astros, but no.
Right. That's beautiful. I mean, there's your silver boot. Right there.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Texas
boot
can do
there.
a trophy, can't they?
They certainly can. That's nice. I'll take it.
But
it is nice.
But no big leaguer gets a picture taken by it.
I wonder how many.
We got it.
How many guys playing in today's game even know about the silver boot? I mean, are they?
One of
talking
Corey
about,
Seager knows, who ruined last night for the Astros.
Yes, what a night that was. Framber Valdez
Could feel it coming.
You could, especially after he walked Josh Smith.
The walk killed him.
Knew it was over, and that last inning he just didn't have it.
He was a little bit out of gas.
He was definitely out of gas.
Getting up around 106, 107. The high for the year had been 108 pitches. He's been lights out his last 8 starts.
Really good, yeah.
And I thought he was laboring. And when he walked him, I said, Seager finds grass.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he didn't.
Yeah,
he parked it in right field.
Found benches. It was crazy because, you saw him, I mean, looked really good and then comes out in the 9th inning and every guy he saw in that 9th inning, that, he kind of was working the count and kind of, started with a couple balls, would kind of work back.
Pitching out of the strike zone, a little too cute.
Was just, he did not have
He was trying to just land the airplane.
Oh, yeah, he was. And yes,
couldn't.
No, he could not. And so, when Josh Smith got walked, you felt like that one was going to be over, but very close. Got to 2 outs in the 9th inning. Was extremely close to having that
would have been
no-hitter.
third no-hitter in 12 days.
Crazy. I was thinking about that. I mean, while
they come
happening,
in bunches.
It would have been insane to talk about because
last year had 4 and 41 days.
Yeah. And so 3 and 12 would be incredible.
That's a clip, isn't it?
That's crazy. So that was wild to see last night. Also, burying the lead, Brett. The White Sox win a game.
I did bury the lead. We really.
How about that?
Q cool in the game, Darren. No doubt about it.
Wow.
Celebration.
Incredible.
No doubt.
Incredible.
It was bound to happen against Oakland.
You had to think. When you look at their schedule, best shot they had against any team.
Absolute best shot.
28th win of the year.
How about that?
On August 6th.
Yeah, no, that's special right there. Not in a good way, but it certainly is something.
Wonder when the Phillies got their 28th win this year.
That's a great question.
I'll bet you May 20-something.
It's a great question. I wonder if I can. I don't
May
know.
May 28th, 29th, or so, somewhere in there.
It's got to be.
Same for the Yankees. Same for a lot of those teams out there with a lot of wins.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But no, Connor called me last night. I had left here and was hanging out with Melinda, and he calls me, and he's like, hey, man, and he has not said this since the losing streak started. He's a big White Sox fan. He calls me and goes, hey, man, I got a good feeling about tonight. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, the White Sox. I got a good feeling about tonight.
Just $1.90.
Sure,
so
yes.
It's a little better feeling.
It was.
Good for Connor to have that.
And he didn't know what the line was or anything. He just goes, I just have a good feeling about tonight. I don't like either of these pitchers, but I got a feeling. He said, so I'm going to put $25 on the game, and we'll see what happens. And I go, all right. And then I got home, and he was talking about how supposedly the Athletics were playing 22, the song by Taylor Swift, in the stadium pregame.
Got it on your iTunes?
I do not.
Darren, you got it anywhere?
I don't think I have any Taylor Swift on my iTunes, unfortunately.
Darren, you got any Taylor Swift on iTunes?
Any Tay-Tay?
Because of my daughter, yeah.
Interesting.
I've got the John Mayer.
You do. I knew
I'm a huge John Mayer fan.
But I've caught such grief over.
No,
yeah,
no, you should not.
Well, it's okay.
No.
The Philadelphia Phillies.
It was a time in my life I handed my phone over and let someone else purchase music on
Well,
it.
that happens, I guess.
It comes and goes, though.
Not anymore. Nobody buys music anymore.
They don't?
No, everything's streamed now. You get an account. You get a subscription. You can listen.
I still
to
buy
whatever
at
song you
iTunes.
want. Oh,
Bought
Well, yeah, most recent bought song. I'm curious.
it was by In Excess, Alive and Kicking.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're carrying the bought song group.
It was like $1.29.
Well, hey, I mean,
I thought it was a good deal.
It seems like.
So what do you? How do you buy? What do you pay for how much you get?
I think I pay like $10, $11 a month, and I can just stream whatever song I want.
They draft that.
No, it's
just everything released.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Everything.
yeah, anything. I mean, you say it, I can
You
pull it up right
you can
now.
pull it up,
Absolutely.
Whoa, I don't need that.
Yeah. So anything I want to listen to. Phillies got their 28th win of the season.
May 11th.
May 11th.
Wow,
yes,
wow.
Against the Miami Marlins. So
That was about 41 days into the year.
An 8-3 win for them. So look at the Phils.
Took the Southsiders a while.
It took them a while, but hey, we're here. So
yeah, we are.
That definitely.
How many
is a
more?
good feeling for them. Oh well,
They get to the magical 41 to top the 62 Mets.
It seems like it's gonna be tough.
Casey Stengels. Can anybody here play this game, Brooke?
Yeah, it seems tough.
With Jimmy Pearsall hitting his career 100th home run and circling the bases backwards.
Yeah. We might be asking the same question to.
What would happen
Chicago.
to a guy now that circled the bases backwards?
Geez. How many unwritten rules do you break by running the bases backwards?
Unfortunately, he'd be a TikTok fan
All
by
of
the
them.
time he's done.
Oh yeah.
That may have violated
TikTok star.
Yeah.
the Geneva Convention
Yeah,
then.
no, that's
circling backwards.
Yeah, that's no good. That's not good.
You
at all.
get hit in the on deck circle next
definitely.
time up, don't you?
Definitely. I don't think you make it to the on deck circle.
Your own team throwing
Yeah.
at
Your
you.
own team. There you go.
Exactly.
Your own-
Yes, that's right. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Tom Ackerman from KMOX and the Cardinals Network will join us. We'll talk the St. Louis Cardinals with him as they get a win last night over Tampa Bay. They did not make it look easy, though, but they get the win. I said it Monday that if and when the Cardinals won another game, I would wear my Cardinals hat, so I'm a man of my word today. So we'll talk a lot of Cardinals with Tom at 3:30.
Well, that was a former rope hat that the rope was removed.
Yes, the rope was
Darren,
removed.
did you realize that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, you can't even tell. How about that? Great job.
No.
Cutting the,
Across
cutting
here?
the-
Across here?
Yeah,
I
right,
know.
right
Okay.
across here. It was a City Connect edition that Brett actually got at a game and gave to me, and it had that rope, and the colors for the City Connect jersey. It's like black and yellow and red.
Every
So-
giveaway that weekend made it back to Bryant.
Yeah, yes, it did. And so I don't know, it just didn't fit. Like, you had to kind of know a City Connect to really understand it. I just cut it off, and good looking hat now with the all white. But we'll talk a lot of Cardinals at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk the Olympics. 4 o'clock, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf will join us, talk some golf and make some picks. At 4:30, we'll talk some college football as a lot of news rolling in the college football world. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Nick Suss, the Tennessee Titans beat writer for the Tennessean, will join us to talk the NFL and the Titans. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. Head over to Family Leisure for great deals like the 24-foot above-ground pool for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Also, 4-person hot tubs only $29.99. And don't forget about discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Darian Newsom. We are Sports Time. He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock. And you can reach us at 901-360-8255. Text or talk at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line, and also all our guests will join us at 901-360-8255 at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. From our Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports Time, and this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, I saw two things last night that I didn't know if I would ever see again. The first being the St. Louis Cardinals winning another game against the Tampa Bay Rays. But it wasn't easy, Brett. I know a lot of people say,
all-time losing
Tampa
record to the Rays.
Wow, that I did not know that. So good to know. But, you know, I heard a lot from a lot of people on social media, friends of mine that said, this is where they bounce back. Tampa Bay's no good. They just sold at the deadline. They're looking to next year. They're not going to put up a fight. And then what happens, Brett? 2-0 early in the top of the first inning. And I go, okay, here we go again. But thankfully, the Cardinals step up. A lot of the young guys stepping up
and
for the Cardinals and held on to the end. A late comeback for the Rays. I thought that they were going to give that one up late, but they get the win. And then the other one, the big one, the White Sox finally win again. Everyone was asking, when would it come? I think a lot of people felt good about the Athletics. No disrespect to the Oakland A's, but it feels like the recipe for getting a win after an extremely long losing streak would be to play the Oakland Athletics. And the White Sox were lucky enough to get that break, and they made the most of it last night. They lost the first game in Oakland against the A's, but they get their revenge last night, a 5-1 victory for them. So no more talk about the longest losing streak ever. That comes to an end at 22, and celebrate, Chicago White Sox fans.
I'm with you. That's my top story. The long national nightmare is over for the Southsiders. They win after 5 straight games of not even having a lead. Last win was on July 10th, 27 days between wins. Now only 60 under 500, 28 up, 88 down. Do y'all know where the term the long national nightmare is over comes from? What president gave that speech?
I don't know. I have no idea.
50 years ago tomorrow, Richard Nixon announced that he would resign effectively, effective at noon tomorrow, the Friday the 9th, and he did. And then I think that following Sunday night in a national address to the country from the Oval Office, Gerald Ford said, our long national nightmare is over, talking about Watergate.
Interesting.
That's where it came from. Now, 28-88 for the White Sox, 13 wins from the 1962 hapless Mets. The Mets also had Richie Ashburn in center field that year, but he was really done. He was just wrapping up a career. They were bad. We'll see if the White Sox are worse.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be Hard Knocks Episode 1 last night featuring the Chicago Bears. A really good night in Chicago. The White Sox get a win. The Bears get Hard Knocks Episode 1.
Featuring Nick Saban.
How about that? Matt Eberflus, a former player under Nick Saban at Toledo. So he called in the big guns. Obviously, Nick Saban, a lot off his plate from recent years.
Can you imagine Saban at Toledo?
No, not at all. Incredible. But yes, so Saban was a big focal point of the episode last night, kind of mentoring Eberflus and giving him some pointers on.
Went 9-2 that 1 year at Toledo.
Oh wow, did you really? I didn't know that. That's incredible. But a lot of the talk between Nick Saban and Matt Eberflus was surrounding the young rookie quarterback, which for me, watching episode 1, that's what I really wanted to see. How is Caleb Williams around those other quarterbacks? How are those other quarterbacks around him? Maybe some of the kind of camera shots you get where maybe you can try to catch a slip of reaction. They know they're on camera, but maybe you
like
see a
slip and slide.
Like a slip and slide, which they were sliding down that, which was cool. But it seems like all those guys really love
slip
him.
and slide at Toledo.
No. I doubt there was a slip and slide anywhere near Toledo under Nick Saban. But it seems like everybody loves Caleb Williams. It seems like he it just wants to be one of the guys. I was watching Good Morning Football yesterday, and they were talking about they were really excited to see. You'd seen the promos for episode 1 where he's saying his signing bonus, which is ridiculous. And they were saying, I want to know, what does he do? Does he try to take it very serious, or does he have fun with it and let the veterans boo him? And that's exactly what he did. He tried to sing Ordinary People.
And they they threw trash at him.
he could not get through the first note without being booed. And yes, trash came flying at him. He took it.
He was a great sport. He was
awesome.
a great sport.
It was good episode. Matt Eberflus, though, I don't know if I'm in or out on him. It wasn't a great first episode for him, but we'll see. A lot more episodes to kind of bounce back from that.
My not top story, Final Four at the Olympics in basketball all set. United States versus Nikola Jokic in Serbia. Joel Embiid, I'm sure, losing sleep over having to get destroyed yet again by Jokic and the French crowd to boo him. And he could play France in the finals. France versus Germany in the other semi. Should be easy for the United States. Just win, baby.
Yep.
Goal shuts up everyone.
Oh, yeah. Who cares about the point spreads? Who cares about any of that? Just come back with gold, and everything will be great. But I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, we're talking Cardinals with Tom Ackerman.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you're looking to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees, then Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas is the place for you. At Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, you can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and is now available to everyone. A membership is $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar, all less than 15 minutes from downtown and midtown Memphis. Meadowbrook Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on and Cleveland clubs. If golf isn't for you, try the social membership for only $250 a month. And there's 2 levels of all-inclusive junior memberships, $20 to $29 for $200 a month and $30 to $34 for $250 a month. Call for your tee time today at Meadowbrook Country Club, 870-394-4186. Now semi-private Tuesday through Sunday. Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, 870-394-4186.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to give back to communities across the state. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. They're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers and tournament participants as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield helps communities, please visit bcdst.com.
It's rainy season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans,
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our family leisure studios, and we got to talk some Cardinals, and nobody better to talk the birds with than Tom Ackerman. He joins us from KMOX and the Cardinals Network. Tom, thanks so much for joining us. Cardinals bounced back last night with a win over Tampa Bay, but the last couple of weeks they've started to struggle. What have you seen over these last couple of weeks, last month, from the St. Louis Cardinals team?
Well, a lot of things, and good to be with you. I think that, one of the things about them is they just haven't had consistency on offense. Mm-hmm. They've really struggled hitting left-handed pitching. That's what made yesterday so delightful to start, and that Victor Scott knocked a home run off of a lefty, and he's a lefty that was brought in to play defense. Yeah. That really got the place going, and it got Sonny Gray turned around, too, while they flipped the score around and made it a 4-2 lead after Tommy Pham hit a home run. That helped Gray kind of flip a switch, and he was able to lock in and get the job done. And the Cardinals pitching, while it has been good, has not been shut down either. I mean, the Cardinals starters, from Gray to Gibson to, Eric Fetty, who's going to start tonight, to Miles Michaelis, to Andre Palante, Lance Lynn, who's on the IL, has not been dominant necessarily. And the bullpen, while has been good, has had some holes too, and just a little bit shaky at times. But really, it's come down to lack of consistency. And I think the you don't want to point a finger to one area. It's a whole bunch of different things that has really contributed to it. But the offense probably the most frustrating for me. They went to Wrigley Field. They just weren't able to generate a lot. They got away with a win. They stole one and found a way because the Cubs were making mistakes, but you take it. On Thursday up at Wrigley, they had a game taken away from them, a walk-off. But, if you score more runs and you have a more of a comfortable lead, you're not playing with fire as much. The Cardinals have had so many close games this season, so many, that it was eventually going to hurt them. But they lost 3 out of 4, and to me, the worst loss of all was the Monday loss. I talked to Ollie Marmol, actually, the Cardinals manager, this morning, and I said, look, Ollie, I'm a positive person. I had him on my show this morning. I'm like, I'm a positive guy. You know that, and you know me. But I could not get over the Monday loss. I mean, it was a 6-0 loss to the Mets. They did not look good, and he kind of laughed because I know if I'm hurting, you're hurting. So how did you come back and do what you did Tuesday? And they just, they found a way to collect themselves, turn the page, and get that win yesterday against the Rays. It was a big one. They found a way, as I said, to score 4 runs in the second inning, get a lead, and then they were able to hold them off in the end. But even yesterday, they score 4 runs in the second inning, and that's it for the game. Mm-hmm. They end up winning the game 4-3. So, gosh, it would be nice to blow somebody out once in a while. It would. And I think that's going to take keeping the line moving on offense and scoring a ton of runs in a game would be hugely beneficial.
And Tom, you talk about the lack of success against left-handed pitching. That starts with the big guys. That starts with the each side of the infield with Goldschmidt and Arenado.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And Contreras, and they've got some big names on this team that have to be able to carry the team eventually. Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras obviously jump out at you. They're not where they are without Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson. These are younger players who have been able to have very good years for them and have basically saved the season for them. But their big veterans have not been able to get the job done, and that's been difficult, I think, for fans to take in. But it's also August 7th, and there's still a lot of time. The division is gettable. It really is. They're very fortunate that the Brewers haven't run away with this. They're 6 games out in the Central, and the Cardinals are only 2 games over 500. I mean, they can win this division
and
because
play a bunch.
There's still 6 games left, against the Brewers on the schedule. So, they need to get after it. They got to get these big veterans to come through here for them and try to catch Milwaukee. I see that as way more gettable than the wild card. The Cardinals are 3 games out of the wild card, but they're in a 7-team race for those 3 spots. That's not ideal. You do not want to get into one of those situations. Someone's going to get hot and leave everybody else out. You can't do that. You got to concentrate on Milwaukee and try to overtake them in the Central.
What did the skipper of the Cardinals, how did he respond to you when you said, look, I'm positive, I'm pro the team? Did it rattle him Monday? Because, Tom, when I saw your tweet, this one really bothers me, that's when it just spelled it out to me that this is time to be concerned, because you are not. You don't have the fits and starts with the long year that some of us that are big fans, like Bryant,
right,
like he has during the year. You take the long approach. That one Monday rattled you.
Nah, it did. I told him that, again, I said, you know me. I mean, I'm positive. I am good about turning the page and looking forward to the next game for this club, and that one hurt. He kind of laughed at first, a nervous laugh, sort of, and then said that they just didn't hit in that game. I think the one that bothered him, actually, he said it. The one that really bothered him was Thursday, having that game taken away from them because they played such a great game. So we're looking at it two different ways. I think that, maybe that Monday, while it was bad and he didn't like it for sure, he saw that as Sean Manaea just, carved him up. Mm-hmm. And Wednesday, they should have won that game. So that's really how he looked at it, but they found a way to collect themselves and win the game yesterday. And this is a big week for the Cardinals. I mean, you've got to get some momentum. You're playing at home. You're playing a Rays team that's sold off a lot of pieces. The Rays are an above 500 team, but like the Cardinals, they have a 4-run differential, and they don't have nearly the lineup the Cardinals have. So that you've got to get it done this week, and then you go to Kansas City for a Friday-Saturday series, and the Royals are the real deal. I mean, they're going for a wild card in the American League. They have one of the best players in baseball in Bobby Witt Jr. They have some very good pieces, just like the Cubs. They're going to be fired up to play the Cardinals when they come to town, just like the Cubs. The Cardinals fans are going to come in there in big numbers. That's going to rev up the other fans wearing blue, and it is going to be a wild atmosphere. So, you got to take advantage of these games against the Rays and then go into Kansas City for that 2-game series, try to split or win it. And then from here on out, kind of the challenge is you're playing teams that win most of the time. I mean, if you look at the Cardinals' schedule, it is tough.
And the very rare Sunday off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have had a very strange season. I mean, Brett, they had not won a series opener until yesterday. They hadn't won a series opener since July 5th. I mean, it's a month of not winning the first game of a series. And then they had that weird thing earlier this year where they could not win on a Sunday. And they could not capture a Sunday game. It's just, all of it's been very odd, yet here they are in the hunt. And obviously last year where they were completely out of it a month before the trade deadline. So this is a team that can get there. They've got to find a way to bear down and do this.
Yeah. You mentioned Eric Fetty going tonight against Tampa Bay. What did you make of what the Cardinals did at the trade deadline, acquiring Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham and sending out Tommy Edman to the Dodgers and then Dylan Carlson to Tampa Bay?
Well, Tommy Pham has been an incredible addition to this team. What a move that was to get Tommy, to get him out of Chicago in that situation with the White Sox and get him fired up about being back in St. Louis and put somebody in the clubhouse who can get that place revved up. He has really good energy and a desire to win, and I think the team from the get-go appreciated that. He hit a grand slam, got the place fired up. He was great the next day. Heck, he hit a home run yesterday that gave the Cardinals the lead. He is a gamer. He's a really good player, and that was just a bonus in adding Eric Fetty. Eric Fetty was the initial target. They wanted Fetty. They wanted a starter, and he has been one of the better starters in the American League. I mean, think about, they're sitting on 28 wins right now, and what are we, over a week past the deadline, they're still on just 28 wins. He's got 7 of them. Yeah. I mean, Fetty won a quarter of their games. He's been really good. So he went to Wrigley, and he got beat basically in one inning where a couple of pitches just had no command of them and could not hit what he normally does with some of his pitches. He's got that great sweeper, and he has, good sinker and changeup, and he just wasn't able to get some of that stuff going. If he could get the sinker, cutter, changeup, some of his breaking pitches going, and then that sweeper and keep people off balance, that's why they brought him along. I think Fetty was absolutely necessary, and then as soon as they make the deal, Lance Lynn gets hurt. So, they had to have a starter, and I think it was a very good trade by John Mozeliak. Tommy Edman hasn't played yet this year. He will, and I think the Dodgers have been watching him for a while, and he's a very good player, but he did not have a position in St. Louis. There wasn't going to be a place for him. The Cardinals have a tremendous shortstop in Mason Wynn. They have a couple of second basemen they can use. They have a center fielder. Now that center fielder is hurt, Michael Ciani, but they have a lot of outfielders they can go through. And again, Edman was not going to play. So they found a way to get those two players, impact players, to come in right away. I thought it was a really good trade.
Tom Ackerman, our guest from KMOX Sports in St. Louis and the Cardinals Network on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. And Tom, when I dip in and listen to Matt Pauley on post-game shows, and we love having Matt on with us, and I'm almost like the Players Association head. I'm for everybody getting a raise in the radio business, but y'all at KMOX and the Cardinals Network, Matt has earned it. He needs battlefield pay for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, he came in. We stole him from Milwaukee, basically, brought him home.
And he walked into this mess.
Brewers pre and post, and he was all excited to come back and into St. Louis, and then the Cardinals just go south. And yeah, it's been a tough go for him. I feel bad. I was covering this team, and when I started, they were very mediocre. Then the McGuire-Sosa home run race happened, and I was able to cover that. And then in 2000, I never looked back. I mean, after the 2000
it was easy.
Start of the season, when the Cardinals made all those deals, all this team has done is go to the playoffs and win a couple of World Series and win 4 pennants. And I had such a good time with them. But to be honest, everybody right now is going through the same thing. Matt's just kind of caught the tail end of it. This really started in 2015. Cardinals won 100 games. I don't know how they did it, but they did it with duct tape, and they found a way to win 100 games. But they lost to the Cubs in the division series, and then the next year the Cubs won the World Series. That 2015-16 back-to-back season did not sit well with Cardinals fans, and that's kind of where all of this angst and anger kind of started from the fan base that has been really frustrated. They didn't go to the playoffs in 16, 17, or 18. They missed it in the last week, but they didn't do it. 19, they beat the Braves in the division series. They get swept by the Nationals. Pandemic year, and then everything is just kind of fallen backwards. 22, they had that great year, the resurgence of Albert Pujols. They win the division, get swept by the Phillies in 2. They just have not been the same. And look, I mean, there are a lot of teams that would like to be the St. Louis Cardinals, going to the playoffs, or at least being competitive and drawing 3 million fans every year. But around here, you get to the playoffs and you have a chance to win the World Series. And fans have not felt that for a while, and it gets frustrating to them. Last time they felt it was in 22. They thought they had a team that could make a run, and they got stopped cold, and then we saw why. The Phillies were the team that they were hot, and they went to the World Series. The Cardinals have got to figure out, and, with Matt Pauley on board now, we got to show him what this thing's all about. He grew up here, so he knows. But
he's handled it well, too.
I agree with you. It sure would be nice. Not to mention what a job last year by Rooney and Horton and Claiborne and Jim Jackson, the engineer, of every single night putting together a great broadcast, knowing that team was going nowhere. Yeah. So this year a little bit different. There's still that hope, but they just have not been able to get over the hump.
No, they have not, but maybe you can make it 2 in a row tonight against the Rays. Tom, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
It's great to talk to you both, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Come up and see us now. We got a little time left to make a little run here in 24.
We will, Tom. Thanks you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Tom Ackerman joining us from KMOX and the Cardinals Network to talk about this St. Louis Cardinals team. And they'll go tonight. He mentioned it. Eric Fetty, his second start with the Cardinals. That first one, he said it, 1 inning that really got away from him and really decided that game. He'll pitch tonight against the Rays. Taj Bradley, the young pitcher for Tampa Bay, will go for them. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the Olympics.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis everyday price.
That's right, the vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices now for a very limited time.
GIA is the world standard of diamond rings, certified accuracy and documented quality, so you can buy the confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, 8 carat up to 20 carat stones.
Ships, cards, and bonds are events, special cuts, ships, and products, prices, prices, value price on a GIA.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stacks, Norsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you, and our Olympic update. We got to update you on what's going on in Paris. And right now, Team USA women's basketball, they're up 76-48 over Nigeria in their quarterfinal matchup. Another looks like an easy victory today for the basketball bunch. I was watching earlier today, and I know we want to come back to basketball. Bill Bender did a great story over Bill Bender. I mean, the hardest working man.
Really is.
He's on everything. College football, college ranking. Basketball, Olympics. I saw him do some lacrosse stuff back during the lacrosse season. He has a ranking that I want to get to in a second. I was watching this morning, though. Let me tell you something, Brett. 2 sports that I do not watch, ever, but I was into it this morning. Skateboarding and weightlifting.
The weightlifting's great.
Oh, it's incredible. I've never watched it before, but this morning had Gold Zone up, and they were showing it. Oh, it was awesome.
I've always watched the weightlifting. When I watch the skateboarding, I'm scared to death.
Oh, man, it's incredible. I mean, what they can do, it's unreal.
I could lift weights, not very much.
I certainly can't.
Maybe
lift
like just the bar with no weight on it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Clean and jerk.
There you go.
But no way I'm trying to skateboard.
Yeah. Well, this morning, the guy that went, so he goes up, he's in the air, he's spinning around, he grabs the board, turns it around, and then lands on it and keeps going. I was like, that was incredible.
Should it be an Olympic sport?
Yes.
Yeah, it should.
Yes, absolutely.
The popularity of it, and
100%.
that's straight from the X Games.
100%. Yeah, and you see a lot more, I feel like, of the X Games.
X Games won.
Like, it sure did. But you see a lot more of the X Games sports in the Winter Olympics because you got snowboarding and you got skiing and all of that
I just
stuff.
don't watch winter that closely.
Yeah, and summer
know
you don't
why?
see it as much. It's cold, Brett.
Winter.
It's exactly the whole winter part of it. But I was really enjoying it this morning, watching all of that. And Gold Zone has been awesome because I mean they are going in. Doesn't matter what the sport is, they're going to it. You're going to see a little bit of it, and I've definitely been watching more different Olympic sports.
You know a hill I'm
this
absolutely going to die on?
Okay, please tell
So
me.
much so, Friday at 5,
Oh, geez.
we're going to compare both rosters.
Okay.
1992 Dream Team to 1996.
Okay.
I've touched around it. I've
Okay.
hinted about
You
it. I'm there.
All right.
Full confession.
All right.
Gonna bring it tomorrow with Keith Smith.
I love it.
96 is better.
Whoa.
Talked about those margins yesterday. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, Darren.
Oh,
I
you
did.
missed the margins yesterday, Darian. That was something. Blew my mind.
Not only should 96 not be forgotten like they are
Right.
in virtual basketball anonymity, witness protection program, it's better than 92.
Wow.
I'm not going to say this to Keith Smith.
Wow.
The older Larry Bird. When you hear Larry Bird on the Dream Team, you think of 1981 Finals.
No,
Larry
he was
Bird.
toast.
Sure.
No, he was toast.
He had nothing left
Absolutely.
in 92.
Absolutely.
Nothing. You have five players that were on both. So how do you say 92 Charles Barkley was better than 96?
Fair point.
He was better in 96 than he was in
I wanna
92.
say, yeah.
David Robinson, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, John Stockton. the
All were
others.
better in 96 than 92.
I'm saving it for 5 Friday. But I want you to have both rosters in front of you.
I got you.
Wasn't Hardaway on that redeem team? Wasn't Penny on that team?
And we talked about it. We talked about him a lot
Penny
yesterday.
was on that team? Okay.
I like
Huh.
it.
Hakeem Olajuwon was better than Pat Ewing.
Whoa.
Oh, yes.
All right. I'm excited.
I can keep going.
All right.
There's no doubt 96 is better than 92. It's just not as canonized.
Sure.
It's not as
I
tribute.
mean, they had a name.
Coffee
They were the
table book.
redeemed team for a reason. So you're right.
But what were they redeeming?
That's a good question.
I mean, wouldn't 2008 be the redeemed team after only bronze in 04?
Yeah.
And Manu and the Argentinians winning it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Great point, Brett.
It
Great
is a
point.
really good point. It's a really.
Friday at 5. Stay tuned.
I love it. I can't wait.
But Bill Bender's list, I
Yes.
thought Penny came out good on that list.
Definitely did. And it's,
38th most important player out of 108 all time.
I believe so. Yeah, and it's interesting how he did a lot of different factors.
He had a
into it.
formula.
He did. And so the formula looks at those 4 years before the Olympics, and you get points, more points the higher it goes. The highest amount of points for NBA MVP, then all NBA first team, second team, third team. NBA Finals appearance gets you a point. NBA champion gets you 2 points. NBA Finals MVP gets you a point. NBA scoring title gets you a point. And NBA All-Star Game selection also gets you a point. So 1 through 13, 1992 Michael Jordan, number 1. 2012 LeBron James, number 2. 2004 Tim Duncan, number 3. 1996 Hakeem Olajuwon, 4.
96. There they are.
96. 1992 Magic Johnson, 5. 2012 Kobe, 6.
No, hold it. Let me respectfully disagree on 92.
Okay.
And love Magic Johnson. And maybe in my Mount Rushmore of nicknames of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But he was a ceremonial player.
Yeah.
He was out of the league.
He was retired.
Yeah.
He was retired.
That's interesting. And that's kind of, very, very almost impossible to try to compare
over a horrible set of circumstances that forced his retirement.
Absolutely.
But he was a ceremonial player.
Yes, and that's what makes this interesting because it's almost impossible to compare players in different Olympics because you don't know who's on those other teams and different stuff like that. But the idea of taking 4 years before the Olympics and now making the ranking based on that, it is a little flawed. There are definitely flaws to it, and I think this is one of the cases where it's flawed, but he comes in at number 5, 2012 Kobe at 6, 2008 Kobe at 7, 96 Pippen,
96,
8,
there they are again.
96 David Robinson,
96.
9, 2020 Kevin Durant, 10, 04 Allen Iverson, 11, 96 Charles Barkley, 12.
96.
How about this? 2024 Joel Embiid,
I was making
13.
this case on these airwaves in 96.
Yeah.
And got
viscerated.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
I mean, pummeled.
Let's see. So we just did the top 13. That was considered the what was the name of that category? Dream Team First Team was 1 through 13. So let's go 192, 196, 292, 296, 396, 496. So it's 4-2.
Yeah.
On 96 and 92. How about
they,
that?
They were more in their prime in the 96 team, if you're being honest.
Let me give you this one.
Okay,
I will
please.
say it. 96 Penny Hardaway was better than Magic Johnson 92.
Wow.
Easily.
I like
Easily.
it.
I don't even think I got to raise my voice.
No,
I don't
absolutely
think so.
don't. No,
I don't
absolutely
think so.
not.
Here's another one. Who do you want on your team? 96 Gary Payton.
Yeah.
Or 92 Stockton. Is that where you're
No,
going?
no,
Oh,
Stockton's on both. So I'm
Stockton was on both. Okay.
Or 92 Chris Mullin.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh. Brian laughed.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't have to
no.
laugh.
I did laugh.
Chris Mullin was tough though. Don't tell me Gary Payton by a landslide though.
All right, here's one.
Not by a
This is
landslide.
the big one. And I'm going to do this again Friday at 5 if I have to. 96 Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq.
Or 92 Christian Laettner.
Easy. No, that's easy. Every year
Shaq
Shaq got
should've been
better.
on the team
Shaq should have
in
been
92.
90. Yes, he should have been on in
you're
92.
absolutely right.
But 4 years
Yeah.
afterwards, oh no.
Yeah, that is a
That was the Shaq that took down 45 Michael too. Number 45 when he came back.
It sure did.
He and Penny took down that Michael.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, no comparison.
no, not at all. I like that. I'm excited now for Friday.
Are you going to try to stick up for 92?
Nah.
Get your coffee table books ready.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of research if I'm going to have to defend 92 against you. I'm
Penny,
afraid.
one of the great Olympians of all time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said yesterday, it gets lost. I don't think enough people talk about what he did at the Olympics.
I scoffed back in the winter when it was some debate of should he be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Because remember, it is basketball.
Sure.
So that counts the two great collegiate years.
Yes.
And Penny's NBA career that was cut short by injury. And some then were trying to make the case that had resonance with me, but even has it more. They have it more now, almost like Gale Sayers, the shooting star that he was. I think Gale Sayers was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame at 34, out of the league at 29.
Yeah.
I know Jim Brown retired at 29, but it wasn't because of injury. And because of the injury to Penny and the Olympic status that I'm making the case for now,
He has a gold
and
medal.
I think some made it even then.
Sure.
Penny Hardaway does deserve to be in
I'm definitely
Springfield.
with you. I'm absolutely.
And
with
he's
you on
always
that.
tied in with Chris Webber because of that trade.
Sure.
You know, go to
They're
state.
always
Yeah,
linked.
always linked.
You're absolutely right about that. Well, we need to wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking all things golf with John Goen.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call, hit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Bobby facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you, and joining us now to talk some golf and make some picks. John Goen from Timber Trust joins us now. John, thanks so much for joining us. How are things down at Timber Trust?
Well, guys, it's a busy week for us down here as we get ready for our boondoggle 2-man scramble 2-day event this coming weekend. So it's been extremely busy. A lot going on, and so yeah. But just I had to step away. We're having to auger out a couple of holes to make room for a new utility meter over here next to number 1 tee box, and I didn't want to blow your guys' ears off as we're working through that. So I decided to walk across the street, come over here to the driving range, watch Rodney Panel hit some
very good
shots over here, and
swing hard, Rodney.
Hang out, work on my suntan a little bit.
swing hard. John, how did you think the Olympics went over? Not necessarily the results, but how do you think it was handled in Paris?
I mean, it appeared to be handled perfectly fine. From what I saw and witnessed and was a part of.
I think it's gaining traction, don't you?
Well, I will say this. I mean, clearly, their start has not been the best. Part of is their problem. The other part has not been their problem. Rio obviously was a substantial challenge because of everything going on down there.
And it's not a golfing country.
Not a golfing country. Then you get COVID for 2020 in Japan, which would have probably I think, at the time I was with the tour, 2020 was the year that they were shooting for to really kind of get things going, and then you got COVID. So, and so fortunately for them to go to Paris, Europe obviously is
extremely, golf crazy from their perspective. Close enough to the home of golf. It's kind of the area of the world in which golf started. So it sounds like that the players were even a little bit taken aback by how active and engaged all the fans were, and so I think you walk away from it from a in a pretty positive light.
And John, the Olympics really had kind of illustrative for the whole year in golf. We had a stretch the first few days where Scotty Scheffler was back to Scotty Scheffler we didn't think could make any putts. Then on Sunday, really late Saturday and into Sunday, he makes everything. We had the good Xander from the rest of the year, and we had the not so good, and we had the same old Rory.
Well, you had the same old Rory, and similar with John Rahm. I mean, you'd have thought that was a prime position for Rahm to really kind of, cement something out of his year. And he just absolutely fell apart coming home. I mean, you figure he was 19 under when he makes the turn. I mean, he's right there in complete control as he makes the turn onto the back nine of that golf course, and you'd have thought that he was just going to kind of, shoot a couple under on the backside and away you go. And then, the wheels come off that bus too. So, look, I mean, Scotty shoots 62. I mean, he went out and won the Olympic medal. Everybody else just kind of backpedals out of it, and you get Tommy Fleetwood and Hideki Matsuyama, I think, was, who silver and bronze were. So, but I mean, 62 out of Scotty on Sunday, I did not see that, especially early. It didn't feel like he kind of got off to the best of starts. But then, next thing I knew, I popped in. I can't even remember what I was doing Sunday. I know I came down here for a bit, but I popped in and Rahm makes bogey on 16 or 17, and now he's even out of the medals, and I look up and Scotty Scheffler shoots 62, so I'm like, holy cow.
Would you rather have, do you think rank and file PGA Tour player would rather have the Champion Golfer of the Year medal or the gold medal?
Champion Golfer of the Year medal. The Olympic thing's still too new, in my opinion. I now get to play in the Open Championship till I'm 60.
I would like to see Scheffler and Schauffele debate that.
Oh, yeah. Good debate.
I mean, again, I know Xander showed up here a couple of years ago. I'll be curious to see whether Scotty does as well. But I know Xander showed up here with his gold medal in the locker room at TPC Southwind. So, it'll be interesting. But I think at the end of the day, something that happens every 4 years or something that happens every single year and is 152 years old, I think probably trumps a gold medal at this point.
I think you're probably right. 8 minutes in, Brett, congratulations. I mean, what a pick by you, Scotty Scheffler. And don't look now. I mean, you are not out of it.
Been waiting all week to get this applause.
It's finally here.
I give him kudos for Rory, too. Strangely enough. Even though he didn't medal, I give him kudos for Rory.
What did he get? Scotty. I mean,
got kudos from Derek.
But hey, now in second place, so don't look now. I mean, you're right on.
I was a little angry with Roy. I wanted to get that $1 million bronze out of him, but it was Rory being Roy.
Right on John's heels now.
And also, John, the very distributing after I sent out the update
I'm glad
night,
we're bringing this up.
And I send it out individually. I don't group text because sometimes group text gets a little long-winded with a lot of people. Some want to debate, send you War and Peace on it, and I just kind of want to.
I don't know who that could be on this program for crying out loud.
And I only wanted a one-word answer out of it. But anyway, I sent it individually to you, and I made an error that I did not have the ubiquitous red X from the Apple emojis by Bryant's name. And,
right.
And
it didn't bother me much.
I thought you were a little sensitive about that, John.
Well, I'm just saying. If he'd have had a bagel, you'd have put the bagel in there. Mm-hmm. So we get red X's if you're going to do it. Let's get it right.
Do you hear footsteps?
No.
Coming up behind you.
I don't know that I really feel like I have footsteps because this week in Greensboro and then next week here in the BMW and the Tour Championship, these are gigantic purses, though, the rest of the way. And no cuts, except for Wyndham.
Well, I'll figure out a way to pick a player, though, that either withdraws or, something out of an event, and I'll wind up with one player out of a field at some point in time. And who knows, it may not make a bit of difference. But
John, that is uncanny timing because here's the scoreboard for the year.
I love it.
So, John, you're at almost $30 million, and you're runaway. I don't see how you lose. But for the year, you've only picked winners in 2 tournaments. You've had 10 WDs, DQs, missed cuts.
Wow.
Bryant has had 4 winners.
Wow. I mean, MVP, if I do say so myself.
And only 6 WDs, missed cuts.
How about that?
For the year. The producers, they have had 1 winner, 7 missed cuts or not make it to the finish line. I've had 4 winners and only 8.
So we're tied for MVP.
Right.
We've got the end of the year determines MVP.
So, Brian, I think we're going to do like college football used to do, and I'm just going to claim a win.
Oh, I like that. That's a great idea.
You going to claim one?
I
ahead,
think I'll just take my MVP,
Go ahead,
and you can claim. I don't know how many we can claim.
Jump right into this nonsense.
I'm going to be Danny White at Central Florida.
Central
and claim.
Florida.
Why not?
That's good, John.
Here we go. Here we go. Go ahead and have your banner made up like somebody did a couple of years ago before they lost, and then, you can hang that thing proudly.
If both of my guys miss this week, that would still be 10 missed cuts to John's 10 because there are not any after this week. So I'm gonna claim a championship.
I like it. I like where your head's
Look,
at,
I think it just goes to show you that at the end of the day, I mean, I can still have guys do this to me and still win plenty of money to win this pick'em show. So
$30 million, John.
I think there's that.
Good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Look, at the end of the day, it just goes to show you can pick all the winners you want. You got to pick the winners and the second place guys at the right time when the money's worth the most.
And you have double money at 2 different. You had Bryson at the U.S. Open, and you had Scotty to start the year of our picks.
Well, you know what? And you almost talked me into. I should have taken Bryson second, but I thought one of you guys was going to jump on him first, or else I would have won quad at the U.S. Open.
Oh, you sure would have, and it'd be way.
You scolded me that week that I should have taken because he was allegedly not on anybody's board.
Nobody.
But I'm like, somebody's going to jump on Bryson, and they're like, no.
I
not
begged
after
Derek
I'm
to
like,
take
after
Scotty.
the PGA
At the Olympics.
Well, yeah, I mean that would have helped him.
Now we're going to start. We're going to start with some chicanery starting next week with Brian and Darian picking in front of me.
I've already I listened to the end of the show a couple of weeks ago, and I've already heard there's this ganging up on John getting ready to happen.
Yeah, it's unanimous. We're going to do it. The field at the Wyndham is pretty good.
It is.
10 former major winners in this field, and some FedEx Cup points. Lucas Glover really needs this week to get back to Memphis to defend.
Yeah, it's kind of the irony of this whole, the way that the Cup works and everything else nowadays, because this year's the first year of just 70 back in Memphis, correct? Last year was 156 or whatever for the 1 year, and then we jumped back into 70. I can't recall. Because, of course, during the WGC, we were 70. The excitement to get the Pro-Am back, plus then a larger field so you'd have more golf, but now we're back to 70 again with no cut. So, but it is, it's rather interesting, that Lucas Glover now can basically, it's one of the unique circumstances where the defending champion can't defend because he didn't qualify for the event. A defending champion always has had an opportunity to defend his title on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I love that. I'm glad you brought that up, Brett, because I love this bubble watch we've got this weekend of guys for the FedEx points and trying to get here to Memphis next week. John, Brett and I have talked about this a little bit, but it feels like over the last month or so, maybe couple of months, with the majors we've had being over across the pond, and then you've got the Olympics. We're playing at all hours of the night, way too early for my taste. I didn't watch much of any of the Olympics golf because it's just too early in the morning for me. And then outside of that, it's a lot of smaller tournaments on the tour this time of year. Do you think that's hurting the tour with kind of not being able to show it in a regular time, being in England, and then kind of a lot of these smaller tournaments intertwined throughout the summer?
Well, I mean, I don't know what time you're sleeping until, but I mean, for some of us, we're up at like normal hours, and we actually can turn golf on and watch it during the course of that.
I mean, when you start at 2 a.m.
It leaves the afternoon a little empty, though.
It does. And that's the time I'm trying to watch golf.
Well, I don't necessarily, especially with the Open Championship. I mean, heck, our OB Open during the Open Championship was a blast. I mean, granted, the timing was great just because everything wrapped up. We could do awards and stuff like that. But, I mean, I think I commented after the Open. I mean, I love that, that event because you get up early in the morning, golf's on.
Sure.
It's just like when the Ryder Cup has been in Paris or in Ireland or wherever. I mean, you wake up and bang, golf's on. So, I mean, there's two sides of it. Okay, so, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a late night person. Mm-hmm. So, when they start showing either stuff in Hawaii or a U.S. Opens in prime time, I'm like passing out on the couch.
What about the year the President's Cup was in Australia? I'm still out of whack from it.
Geez.
I lost a day or two in there.
I think we all did. But, so, to answer, I don't think that for the Olympics perspective, I don't think that the tour really cares from that vantage point. And the Open Championship has always been, that early morning thing, which I think, just be happy you're not on the West Coast. I mean, you talk about golf being done at 2 here. It's done at noon there. I mean, now what are you going to do?
That's a good point.
Who's Player of the Year, John?
I mean, it's got to be Scotty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the gold medal kind of cemented it for him. I think that there was a bit of I think you could have had the debate. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I still think that Scheffler has been the most consistent player all year long, had the best streak of wins. Yes, Xander's won 2 majors this year, but unfortunately for Xander, in this situation, Scotty's just been too dominant all year long. I mean, if this is Tiger and Xander Schauffele, everybody's leaning towards Tiger in this situation. So I don't know why it changes in a Scotty Scheffler scenario.
What if he won 2 out of the 3 events left, Memphis and Tour Championship, or Memphis and BMW fell short, but Scotty didn't win at East Lake? Any chance down the stretch?
No.
I don't think so
None.
either.
I don't think so either. Captain America,
but two majors and really
no, Captain America now is Patrick Reed. Let's not get crazy here.
Once upon a time, make a case for Bryson DeChambeau in that. John, who are you really looking forward to seeing? I know we're going to visit next week, and we hope we get to see you. Is there a player you just really want to go see?
I mean, I hate to say it, guys, not really. I mean, I think the field will be good. I mean, everybody's going to be here, and, hopefully you'll see everybody here. I wouldn't see why they would.
I want to see some of the newer names. I want to see Akshay Bhatia.
Oh, me too, Brad. I'm excited.
I want to see some of those type players that I haven't, in the past, or maybe I didn't, realize they were going to be that good. All right, let's pick for the Wyndham in Greensboro. Darian, you got the first pick.
Sanjay M.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. I gotta figure out what browser I was in to pull all this nonsense up. I was on a mower until right before the show. So
you got a few minutes since you go last, Bryant.
Well, this is a weird feeling for me. I'm so used to picking third. And so now, very strange, me picking second.
Almost $20 million for the year for you.
Huh, wow, what a year. I mean, we're on our MVP roll right now, so we're looking to pick another winner.
Still time to be comeback player of the year as well.
Comeback player of the year, that's still on the table, Brett. Thank you. I almost forgot about that one. I don't know if I could get like a coach of the year in there somewhere. I don't know. We'll get all the medals straightened out. But I will take the guy you just mentioned, Akshay Bhatia.
Very good. Leaves me with... I'm going to go with the sweet swinging lefty, Bobby McIntyre.
Oh, yeah, that's your guy.
There's a good argument for him. I mean, he's been a hot player as of late.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to pray to God that Cam Young has figured out his swinging issues while he's had some time off. And, he's not going to break any more drivers, so we'll go with Cameron Young.
I like that pick.
Cameron Young, really good pick. Darian.
Maverick McNeely.
I love that pick. What a name.
Stage name?
Good question.
Maverick McNeely. My first car I ever had was a Maverick, 72 Ford Maverick. Brian.
Let's see. I will go with Brian Harmon.
Oh, you took him from me. I was going team lefty, I swear.
Man.
Brian Harmon, Open champion winner last year, Georgia Bulldog. That leaves me with maybe a week too soon because I love him for next week and his comeback, Will Zalatoris.
Willie Z.
John?
That's a good pick. I've made that pick a couple of times this year. I'll go with another guy who I think has had a pretty hot streak as of late. We will go with England's Aaron Rye.
That's a good one, too.
Aaron Rye. John, tell everybody about the Scramble tomorrow. I know this weekend you've got your great event, but how they can have fun at Timber Trust playing golf and enjoying DeSoto County.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're kind of, as we keep talking about, we're kind of getting toward the end of the two-man scramble every Thursday night, but it's still been great to see everybody. So tomorrow night, we had one team last week that I swear on my life missed a 3-foot putt to tie a skin, or else we'd have had a carryover. And I scolded them immensely during the awards presentation last week. And I played with them, for crying out loud. So, so tomorrow night, 662-895-3530. You can sign up for the two-man scramble tomorrow night. This weekend, the weather's going to be gorgeous. The golf course, we will still have play Saturday and Sunday, even with our event.
Oh, good.
So you can book your tee times, timbertrustgolf.com, or call us 662-895-3530. Obviously, follow us on social at Timber Trust Golf Course. You can, be able to see all the recap videos and everything. But this weekend should be a blast, 2-day event. Really looking forward to seeing everybody come out. Last year we had a smaller group, hoping to kind of build it, and we've done that. Sold it out this year, which has been great. So we're looking forward to just absolutely gorgeous weather this weekend, and should be a lot of fun. But golf course is in really good shape. Trust me, I've been out there on it plenty. I've spent 13 and a half hours this week with my butt in a sprayer, spraying fairways and tees and greens and everything else. I got 2 more hours in it tomorrow, so that thing and I have become well acquainted this week. But golf course is really good. Come on down, visit us in North Mississippi. And, of course, with the weather this weekend, and it's just a sign of what's to come here with fall golf, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a lot of fun. John, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John. We hope we get to see you next week at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, and we're looking forward to being out there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week for golf all day. The Pro-Am a little different now than it used to be, but they still have an event. I think the pro players only play 9 holes, which is better for them.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is for keeps, part of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm excited to get out there next week. It's hard to believe that it's already almost tournament week, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday out there, seeing a lot of those guys, get some practice in and get that work in before the tournament, and then it's on from there, and all weekend it's going to be a blast.
Picks next week, double, and that second pick could pay quad.
Yeah, and it's always...
So it's not over. We can catch John, especially with the blocking system.
Yeah, we gotta work on that. We gotta workshop that. But the wild thing or the great thing about next week when we pick is, it's one thing for me to pick Akshay Bhatia or Maverick McNeely or any of these guys and then go home and watch them on TV.
Got to face them now.
Now I'm gonna face them, and I'm gonna be sitting there going, all right, Akshay, what are we doing? Why are we missing putts out here? So, you're really
And they really love it when you tell them, hey, I picked you in our golf segment today.
Yeah.
They really love that.
Hey, got you today. Let's have a day. They definitely love to hear that. So,
Brian, we've had it for a few years now, but the online, very legal in the state of Tennessee, wagering, and there've been a couple of issues this year on tour. I hope we don't have that here.
No, I mean it's ridiculous, and you see it in every sport where some wise guy wants to be the guy that yells at a player, hey,
hey, mashed potatoes.
Yeah, exactly, and it's ridiculous, but it is it is nice having these live bet options if you can handle it, because some people just can't. I'll be honest, Brett. Last year when we were at the golf tournament, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. But, it was a nice day. It was a hot day. It was hot out there last year.
Friday and Saturdays for sure.
And so I needed some shade. I don't remember which hole it was, but they had a general admission, shaded, stadium seat area behind the pin. So I went out there. I took a seat. For about 2 hours, I just sat there. As groups were coming through, I was live betting that hole that I was watching, betting what they would do on it, watching them come through, had a ball. I mean, it was great. It was such a fun time.
That is great. Should we let Dr. Flynn know you made so much at the tournament you didn't need to be paid that week?
No. We didn't make that much
good?
money. No. We were not putting a lot of money on it. It was our first time doing
just
it.
Just fun.
So
that's good.
We just put a couple dollars on it, but it was good. But yes, you have to be able to handle betting on sports when you're at these live events.
One of our sponsors now and next week, and at SEC Media Days year-round, we always can, and we sure appreciate it so very much. It's Jason's Deli, and they'll be feeding all the volunteers one day next week. They love doing that and working with everybody in the community, out in the community, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli, over 200 associates for this group in our area. Whether you're dining in, getting it to go, getting it delivered, or volunteering at the golf tournament, or so many things they do in all the back-to-school big events. You can really feel it now. Everywhere you go, it feels like it's that time of year, and it is, and everybody's having that special event. Let them do all the work for all the catering, and that's when they really excel. When you don't think you have it down for your event, step aside, let them step in. Same day and last minute orders welcomed. When I say last minute, I mean the day of, oh no, we haven't got this right. Take care of us at Jason's Deli, where it's the first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and all the great locations like Ridgeway Road across from MUS, Poplar and Highland by the University of Memphis, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova. I promise you, there's one close to you wherever you are in our area. And in every one of those restaurants, you can find that great salad bar. Over 30 items for you to prepare it however you would like. And then off the menu, you can order the salads they have on the menu, like the taco salad or the Big Chef salad or the Mesa chicken salad. All good and all good for you, catering anytime, anywhere. Complimentary free ice cream in all the locations, like at Ridgeway Road, down in Cordova, out in Olive Branch, and over by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's get to a quick break. When we come back, there's a lot of news in the world of college football that we need to talk about. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis everyday price.
That's right, the vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond diamond, certified accuracy and documented quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included at this event. Now carrying up to 20 karat stones.
Ships, cards, and bonfire, special cuts, ships, and products, prices, prices, and extra value price on a GIA. Purchase engagement ring. Selection against Genesis Diamonds, GIA diamond extended.
Save an extra 20% on some of your precious diamond rings. Now for a limited time.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you, and we got to talk some college football. A lot of news. I want to start off, though, with some injury news, some big-time injury news for the Texas Longhorns.
Devastating.
Being reported that running back C.J. Baxter is expected to miss the season after tearing his LCL PCL during practice. That's everything. That does not sound fun. During practice on Tuesday, Baxter's injury will require surgery, and the recovery time is between 6 to 9 months. A guy ran for over 600 yards last year. They were going to lean on him heavily in the backfield this year, and that is a brutal blow just weeks before the season.
It is, and it hurts throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
But that hurts Texas week 2.
Absolutely.
When they've got to go to Ann Arbor for that big game against the defending national champions, and it hurts Texas in week 3 when they host UTSA.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And those are two important games.
Pretty good beginning. Pretty softer part of the year for Texas in the beginning of the season. Colorado State, Michigan, Texas San Antonio, Lou Monroe, and Mississippi State. But at Ann Arbor, and then the the Super Bowl feeling that UTSA will have coming to Austin for that game that hurts them. Now, the easy thing to say is Texas has got 5 more. Well, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We know what he could do.
Absolutely. No, we saw what he could do last year, and
that 5 more they may have, are they going to be able to do it in Ann Arbor week 2?
And that's the question. You feel confident C.J. Baxter can, and you saw it last year. You thought this could be, being that main back, that this could be, a somewhat breakout year. I think it was already kind of on the scene, but really a breakout year for him. And now,
I didn't read details of how it occurred. Was it contact or cutting?
I haven't seen really any of the details, so I'm not positive.
And you can't just have them in bubble wrap all the time.
I mean, it's that, that conversation you have to have every year, because at the end of the day, injuries are going to happen. They're unavoidable. It sucks every time it happens. You hate it every time you read those headlines. But at the end of the day, this is a very physical sport, and those are going to happen.
And sometimes, just cutting.
Yeah, and
it
so
does. Now when I go to practice, to August practices, it's nothing like it used to be.
No.
Where you would have, and I can remember a Houston Nutt's first year at Ole Miss, they had the drill where it was the proverbial 2 offensive linemen blocking the 2-on-1, blocking the defensive lineman, Oklahoma drill, whatever you want to call it, and kind of the running back, coming through the hole. It was Michael Orr and John Jerry blocking Parade Jerry with Dexter McCluster running. And I mean, pads were popping.
Oh, yeah.
It was some serious stuff. They
absolutely.
were getting after it, and everybody screaming and hollering.
Of course.
Now just one practice, and so much of it is so limited to contact. When I go to practice now with the NIL and the portal, I go more to familiarize myself with the new people than to go see who's physical and who can really get after it.
Right, and you're absolutely right, because you don't see nearly as much tackling.
And don't want to.
No, you don't want to, because of stuff like this. Like you said, you can't put them in bubble wrap. We can't protect them from everything, but you want to try to prevent anything that you can at practice.
The quarterbacks are all in the protective jerseys, and everybody knows. You hit Quinn Ewers, and you're out of town.
Yeah, unless you're Daniel Jones, and then you just jump into it.
And he had that work for him. But at Bama practice, even if he made a cut to run right at a linebacker, you're not hitting Jalen Milroe.
No, you're not. And you will get lit up by every single coach on that staff if you do. And that's at a lot of places.
But even if those practices now are nothing like they used to be, the big guys still get after.
Oh, absolutely.
Pre-game for the big guys is still tough.
Oh, yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
It's the last place where football's still football, the line of scrimmage.
The line of scrimmage, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon, which is great. But I remember a month ago, maybe, we were talking about on ESPN.com, if you went to the college football tab, the big headline was a picture of the University of Memphis football team, and it was talking about the American.
It was on a weekend. It stayed up there all weekend.
It stayed there all weekend. Well, yesterday and today, they have found themselves back towards the top of the NCAA headline, at least on mine. I don't think it's particularly to mine, but it could be. But a good story, whether it's on the home page or not, about Memphis and their path to the playoffs this year. Harry Lyles, who does a ton of the...
Oh, I love Harry Lyles. I'm just now seeing it. How have I missed this?
Okay, so it is on yours, too. I was just making sure it wasn't just somehow I clicked...
No, it's kind of sub-headline for me, though.
Yes, it is sub-headline. But, it's one of the first things you see when you pull up the NCAA tab, on NCAA football tab, on ESPN.
I like Harry Lyles a lot. In fact,
really
sitting at a table in Atlanta with Brent Beard and Heather Dinich introduced Brent and I to Harry.
Wow. Yeah, I love him. He's usually on that Thursday night.
With Matt Berry and company.
Yes, and I think they're a great team. They do a great job. But, yes, he wrote about Memphis, the clear path to the playoff, can it capitalize? And so you're continuing to see Memphis football getting that positive attention from not just the local media but national media, talking about this year and how special it could be for them.
Yeah, they're on and they're at the top, and other people are now starting to kind of drill down and work the losses for the other teams. And my summertime admonition, my sermonette, I know all summer, broken record. You're not pulling for your fellow G5ers anymore.
Nope.
You want really
right.
a bunch of losses to happen to
Right.
them.
Yes. You want the losses to pile up for everybody, and you have
the
that
scenario I brought up, I think you could get 2. We said it may have to be 2 undefeated.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's hard to ask.
Yeah.
That's really not realistic for 2.
No, but
it's tough for Memphis because of FSU.
Certainly. But I think there is an alternate universe somewhere out there where 2 group of 5 teams could get in there.
Everybody feels this season right here on us. Anywhere you go, people are talking about it, and they know that this can be very, very special.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and it's just building the closer we get to the regular season, and I love it because we have on guests all the time that are Tiger guests, and it feels like really ever since the end of the season, it's been, oh man, this offense. Oh, you're getting Seth Hennigan back. Oh man, look at these weapons that you're going to have next year, and that's great. I think this offense is going to be really, really good. But it feels like the closer we get, we're getting more headlines about those other units. Oh man, look at what that defense did against Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. This could be a special year for that defense, and so it really feels like this team's coming together. And what Ryan Silverfield did in the offseason, not only being able to get commitments from those guys to return for another year, but then going out in the portal. We talked about that defense, Brett. Reggie Grimes and what he's going to do. A guy that they brought in from Oklahoma. The safety from Tennessee that they brought in, and what he could do for them. And you get Chandler Martin back that you brought in before last season from East Tennessee State. What Ryan Silverfield has done in the portal has been unbelievable to watch, and has really built to this excitement.
I saw a list, I think, from On 3 of the top portal teams.
I did see this, yes.
Tigers 7th or so.
Yeah, I wonder if that's on their website, if I could pull it up. But yes, certainly top
Oregon
top 10.
1, Ole Miss 2. Likely suspects at the top.
Sure.
But there's Memphis at 7.
No.
And we know the cause and effect.
Sure.
And again, it's 100% legal.
Absolutely.
If you're not doing it other places, why aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, everybody doesn't have FedEx and a great supporter like Fred Smith to help you out.
Yes, and that's great, and nothing wrong with that at all when it's all legal.
But for all the years that Memphis was just scratching and clawing uphill against every fight and had no advantages whatsoever,
right.
now you have one.
Yeah, you have one, and they're definitely using it.
And you heard that yesterday in Jeff Brightwell. It was so fun visiting with Jeff yesterday.
Was a lot of fun.
And we texted afterwards, and it's a lot of people for this, but I swear. The second the final out was made in Omaha for Ole Miss a few years ago, I was happy for a lot of people. I was happy for the fans that had been going forever when baseball was not that primary. I was happy for a lot of people. I was happiest for David Keller. For him calling all those games, all those rain
100%.
delays, all those road trips. And texting with Jeff last night, thinking about everybody on that Tiger crew that I'm friends with, Dave, Jarvis, Greg, everybody, people you hear and don't hear on there, Jeff, all the work that Jeff has done for them to be sitting on this, on the verge of this season, that I feel every fiber of my being is going to happen.
No, I'm absolutely with you, and it feels like it's going to be one of those special seasons, and it's going to be fun to watch it play out.
Those and the fans that have had to sit out there in not so fun years.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I talk about it all the time.
With what Hugh Freeze and Arkansas State did to them.
Sure. Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, I remember
your parents among them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I remember plenty of games as a child.
Were you a child during the lengthy rain delays in Jonesboro?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Absolutely. I was at that game.
You took your first steps at Tiger football.
Brett, I'm not making this up. I was born in March. I went to the spring game in April or May.
That's great.
After I was born. My parents talk about it all the time. So, yes, I was at that game in Jonesboro.
We'll ultimately be happy for so many like that if this season turns out like I think it will. But even this run-up, even this conversation, like right now, the optimism and the positivity around it, instead of, and I've said they're on dual paths.
Sure.
It's parallel with Ole Miss instead of, boy, you think we can get in the Poulan Bowl?
Yes.
Bush Report on New Year's Eve looked great, won't it?
It's much better than that, yes.
And there's been many years.
Sure.
And look, might go back. I don't want to get too snooty about it. A year from now, 2 years from now, New Year's Eve at Shreveport might look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been there.
You're right about that. But yes, these conversations are a lot, more fun than that would be.
And I would say for people that are entering into the season, maybe with a sense of dread, don't, because all this can flip pretty quickly.
Certainly.
The team that's the hot NIL portal team now, in 2 years, that could wear off, and there could be a new shiny toy.
Yeah, you're right. So, it's going to be a fun season, I think, not just for Memphis and Ole Miss, but like you said, I mean, kind of seeing how all of this plays out in year one. Last thing, very quickly, and we might come back to this, but Lane Kiffin just can't stay out of the headlines, can he? Even when he tries to stay out of the headlines, he can't. An author is attempting to sue him for a Twitter post.
A Texas professor.
That Lane Kiffin posted.
Makes me hate Texas even more.
Yes, from a page of a book about winning. And now the author, who I read a story earlier today, this author.
Where do you think this is going?
Oh, nowhere. But he sues everybody. I mean, you do the slightest thing, he's going to try to sue you.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting to
me. Well, this case could eventually have real reverberations around material that he thinks he owns.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And what is free speech on the Twitter machine?
Absolutely. It seems very small right now, but you're absolutely right. This could be much larger.
Would you have to note, this is from nobody wants to do that.
It's crazy.
I mean, this could get Elon involved.
It absolutely could. I didn't even think about that, but you are absolutely right.
Only Lane could get Elon Musk involved in college football.
And Elon Musk against some author of a book from Texas. Good Lord. So that was interesting.
Boy, don't you know that guy's fun in Texas?
Oh yeah, he's the life of the party.
Bet I'd love to be around him.
Suing everybody out there. I mean, you even say you like his book. Here comes the lawsuit.
What if you say you can't stand his book or him?
Oh man, even worse. He's gonna try to throw you in jail at that point. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, no-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapor Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapor Shower Max used for adults only.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Titanville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan
Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I have maybe a couple of big numbers, but I think the first big number that we should bring up has got to be the number one. For one win for the Chicago White Sox, it has been a long time since they've had a win, so you got to give a round of applause for the White Sox and what they did last night. It's been really, really rough. But another big number I have does come from Major League Baseball, and this is honestly an incredible big number. We talked a couple weeks ago when Mike Trout, it was announced that he would miss the rest of a season. He had a setback with his injury and his rehab, so he's out for the rest of the season. But my big number is the number 33 because it is Mike Trout's 33rd birthday today. Happy birthday, Mike Trout. But also this nugget on this tweet that I saw, Mike Trout is one of two players in the, let me throw this at you, Brett, the live ball era, which of course, as we know, since 1920, to have a 975 or higher career OPS and at least 200 stolen bases at the time of their 33rd birthday, along with Willie Mays.
That's good company.
That's really good company.
Live ball era versus modern era. So 1901 meets 1920. Wonder what kicked off the live ball era. That's right after shoeless Joe Jackson throwing a World Series.
You're exactly right. I have no idea what happened with the live ball era. But
the Oakland A's were 180 favorites today over the White Sox and lead 3-2 with 2 outs in the ninth.
Wow. It was 2-0 for a while, so they just must have scored the last couple of innings to take that lead. So.
Poor White Sox.
Well, hey, at least they got that win. You know,
start a new streak.
Start a new streak, I guess. But you know, as long as you're not in that conversation anymore for most consecutive losses of all time.
My big number is 111, 110 higher than your number one.
There you go.
111. Mason Wynn leads the major leagues. Leads baseball for rookies with 111 hits. Vince Coleman in 1985 was the last Cardinal rookie to lead baseball in most hits by a rookie. In that year, Vince Coleman was National League Rookie of the Year before being gobbled up by the tarp. I'll have to explain it to you later. Still almost hard to believe how that happened.
Oh, man.
Paul Skeens will be the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Mason Wynn's not going to be, but he has had a good rookie season, and that play he made for the last out last night, his hands are as good as you'll ever see.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's Ozzie Smith hands.
Yes, you know, and it's with any fan base, but there are a couple of accounts on Cardinals Twitter that sometimes they tweet things. I'm like, all right, you're crazy. That doesn't even make any sense. It's just fandom, whatever. But last night, somebody tweeted and said, there's not many shortstops in baseball that can make that play. And I agree. I mean, the hands, how fast he can get the ball out and get it over to first, that ball speed that he throws with. I mean, he is a special, special player and he was the bright spot late in the season last year when you kind of started to see those glimpses late in the season. But this year has certainly been the bright spot.
But we have been burned by shortstops. Ledmus Diaz,
sure, yes.
Paul DeYoung.
Well, Paul DeYoung.
Really thought had something special in both of them. All-stars.
You're absolutely right. And, those guys, they get extended chances. Paul DeYoung, probably the poster child of getting more than enough chances to show that you can be an everyday shortstop for the Cardinals. But, man, it just feels different with Mason Wynn. It's just something about the way he carries himself. He looks like a professional even though he's very young. It just feels like he belongs. He's hitting the ball really well at the plate. His defenses can't miss. It's been really, really fun to watch him play. But then, and it feels like these two guys will, especially in Cardinal land, will be linked because of how close they are. But on the other side of how well Mason Wynn has been adapting to the major league level, and then Jordan Walker, who I wanted to ask Tom Ackerman earlier about Jordan Walker and if he had been hearing anything within the organization of kind of what's going on there and how they're viewing him at AAA, but just kind of is starting to get lost in Memphis at the AAA level.
It's the final. The A's won 3-2 over the White Sox, so a one-game losing streak for the
It's a lot better than
Southsiders.
22.
Astros win the Silver Boot.
Wow.
6-4 over the Rangers.
About that?
Boy, the Rangers announcers were really salty last night when the no-hitter got broken up. Did you catch it?
We were at Topgolf, so we were watching on television. We didn't have any sound.
I thought it was real bad.
Yeah,
I know
I'll
they
have to go back and find it.
They don't. They're not supposed to be rooting for it.
Sure.
But to be almost like it was the last out of the World Series or the winning home run of the world. You're defending champions. You are World Series champions.
Man.
I swear, I think they sounded more excited about that last
Not
night.
a great look.
The Cubs win 8-2. So one team in Chicago is winning, the
There you go.
Northsiders, 8-2 over the Twins. And the first game of a doubleheader, Arizona defeated Cleveland 7-3. Long day of baseball in Cleveland.
Long day of baseball there. Long day of baseball that just got started a couple hours ago in New York with the Yankees and Angels getting a doubleheader. Man, because I was excited. I talked about it yesterday. I really was excited to see Eduardo Rodriguez, his first game with Arizona. He's pitching in the second game against the Guardians. They're up 4-3 right now. But I leave here yesterday and I get home and I'm like, you know what? Why have I not gotten any update or anything about Diamondbacks and Guardians? And then I went and saw a torrential downpour, storms all over the place in Cleveland last night. And some people saying because of the way how deep we are in the season, the lack of mutual off days between those two teams, that they were really going to have to find ways to get that game
There's
in.
not any place to play.
There's literally not. And so I saw one beat writer even toss up the idea of even if we have to start this game at 10 o'clock tonight, we have to get this game in. And so a doubleheader today for them. But yes, a lot of baseball on tap today with two doubleheaders.
Once upon a time, I think in the American League, not in the National League, you couldn't start an inning past midnight.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow, curfew.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
Little curfew action.
Best player nobody's heard of that you'll learn his name come the playoffs. The Twins, Royce Lewis.
Oh, yeah. I like Royce Lewis.
You buy?
Yeah, I buy into that. And that's a fun name that you always kind of see. If you watch the Twins a lot, you'll kind of catch him every once in a while. Good player, but you're right. Is not
been out with injury a little.
He's definitely been out with injury, but you're right.
But when he's in there,
yes, a guy that is a good player that could have that breakout once you get to the postseason play. Yeah, Royce Lewis, I like that one.
You remember a few week and a half ago, I said, give me your National League wild cards, and we went through them, and I said mine would be Arizona, San Diego, and the Mets.
Yes.
Right now, two of the three are there, and the Mets right behind the Braves. My point that day was the Braves aren't going to be able to withstand all these injuries.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, these injuries just pile up, and it's hard to find a way out of it, and it's just – you hate to see it, but it's just one of those years. We obviously saw it here in Memphis with the Grizzlies, and now the Braves are going through it.
You have that Murphy's Law year.
You absolutely do.
We can't catch a break.
Yeah, and I kind of hate it because we have a lot of Braves fans here in Memphis that are also Grizzly fans, and so, I can't even imagine having back-to-back teams have seasons like that, but that's what they're getting. But we need to go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking a whole lot of Tennessee Titans and the NFL with Nick Suss from the Tennessean.
Or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it.
call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Get the highest quality diamond ring at a rock-bottom price right now at Genesis Diamonds. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price. The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy, and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence. Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20-carat stones. All shapes, rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, and princess cuts. There's never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for the best selection. Save an extra 20% off those rare, precious diamond rings now for a limited time. One per customer, please. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy of the FedEx St. Jude Championship August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk the Tennessee Titans. Nick Suss, the Titans beat writer for the Tennessean, joins us now to talk about this upcoming season. Nick, thanks so much for joining us. We're excited to get some NFL football back in our life. But in Nashville, what is the feeling around this Tennessee Titans team going into the 2024 season?
I've been trying to come up with the right adjective for this, and I think I'm just settling on refreshed. Like I think that there's a perception about the Titans that has persisted for 20-some-odd years now. Of they're the old-school team, they're the hard-scrabble team, they're the team that's going to fight and beat you with grit and the run game and aggression and all that stuff. And I think this team's more modernized now, and it's a little refreshing for fans to have this change of pace, to embrace a pass-first offense and a pass-centric defense, and a team that has more of these modern 21st century NFL philosophies, and I'm not saying that's going to lead to success. There are plenty of modernized offenses that don't work, and there's plenty of old school offenses that have found success, including many Titans ones in recent years. But I just think the fans are looking at what Brian Callahan's doing, what Will Levis is doing, the upgrades at receiver with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, the upgrades on defense, particularly in the secondary with L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie, and even this week with Quandre Diggs. I think that it's generally just a breath of fresh air.
Nick, don't you think that would probably been a directive from Amy Adams Strunk to Rand Carthon to moving on from Mike Vrabel, that they would want to be refreshed? Because you're right. I think when you think of the Titans, you think of big shoulder pads and Jeff Fisher and then Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a directive in the necessity of make the offense 21st century, but I do think that anytime there's a coaching change, whether it's the NFL or college or high school or whatever, you're changing it because something wasn't working. So there's always going to be a degree of, well, don't do what the last guy did. And I think that the main talking point back when the change was made in January was about collaboration and identity and figuring out ways to work together in that regard. And I think that has been the edict from on high of everybody play nice. We want to have one collaborative vision to kind of build this team around. And the vision has been executed in Callahan's image. Mm-hmm. Whether that means it's going to lead to wins on Sundays, we're probably a year or two out from actually seeing it. But I don't know. I think that there is no doubt in my mind that this team has been rebuilt in a more Callahan-friendly regard than it previously was under Vrabel, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're getting ready to see the first full year of Will Levis starting the season as a starting quarterback. He came on late, looked good late in the season last year for the Titans. What has this offseason been like for him, and what are the expectations for him as year one of a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a different answer depending on who you're asking and how close they are to the franchise, to the program. I would say internally the expectations are reasonable but high.
Sure.
Might be a nice way of saying it. I think that the expectations, Will's going to throw it a bunch, and they went out and they surrounded him with 3 Pro Bowl veteran caliber receivers. You have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Calvin Ridley, you have Tyler Boyd. Teams that aren't confident in their quarterback's ability to sling it aren't going to spend that much money in one off season to fix your passing offense. They also went out and paid Lloyd Cushenberry, made him the second highest paid center in the NFL. And they went out and drafted a pass-blocking left tackle, and I think number 7 overall. And you have Tony Pollard from y'all's neck of the woods, who's a very multi-purpose running back who can obviously catch the ball as well as he can run it. You built an offense in Levis's image because you trust him. So at the very least, the expectations are this is a guy the Titans think can play quarterback. But as everybody knows who's ever followed the NFL, there is a difference between being capable of playing quarterback and succeeding at playing quarterback. And that's the next step for Will is seeing 3-4 weeks from now when the pads do come on full time. Is he ready? Is he ready to be that guy and carry the mantle for the city?
Our guest is Nick Suss from the Tennessean on the Tennessee Titans beat, covering all things NFL and the Titans on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Nick, what is the opening date for the new stadium, the new dome? What year?
2027.
2027. Okay, that gets out there a little much. Don't you? Does it feel like to you very similar to moving to Tennessee, the year in Memphis, the year at Vanderbilt, getting it right, moving into the new stadium in Nashville, Music City Miracle occurring? Do you think the Titans, maybe in the front offices, they won't admit it because they don't want to try to sell the fans on being that patient, but that's when they really want to have the Callahan-Levis era rolling?
You're right. They won't admit it. But it's also, if you look at the moves they made this year, these were not moves made with the idea of let's be competitive in 3 years. Calvin Ridley's a long-term deal. Lloyd Cushenberry is a fairly long-term deal, and L'Jarius Sneed will be around for a little while. But you look at some of these other moves down roster, Tyler Boyd, 1-year contract. DeAndre Hopkins only has 1 year left on his deal. Quandre Diggs is a 1-year deal. Jamal Adams is a 1-year deal. They went out and they got players to play right now. And they had a lot of money, and they used it interestingly. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, they don't want to be competitive in 2027. Obviously, when you open a new stadium, you want to be competitive right then and there. What I am saying is I don't think that they are making moves with the idea of let's start at the bottom and build to be ready in 26 or 27. I think every move they've made this year is indicating they want to be good right now. And if they're also good in 2027, awesome.
Could you sell the fans on being patient, or they had enough patience?
You can spin anything. I'm not going to say you can't sell fans on being patient, but it's certainly easier to sell fans on let's win right now. And look, the Titans as a franchise are not ever going to be the first segment on ESPN or NFL Network. Mm-hmm. Like, there is an understanding that selling the fan base has more of a local bent because the national bent is going to slightly devalue what the Titans are. And I think we've seen that a little bit with the way the Titans offseason has been talked about. I think that if the Titans played in a larger market, they'd be getting a lot more credit for the offseason they've put together. But we will see how all of those dominoes fall together, because, again, I'm impressed by the moves. They had, I think, the third most cap space in the NFL to spend, and they spent it. They went out and got L'Jarius Sneed, who's a top 5 corner in the NFL, and they went out and got Lloyd Cushenberry, who's a top 5 center, and Calvin Ridley, who's probably a top 15 to 20 wide receiver, and you're rebuilding your team that way. You're impressed by it, but it's also the heat on the Titans isn't what it once was, because you got a first-time coach, a first-time starting quarterback full-time, you got a young GM. Like, there's not much positive momentum coming off of what people have seen, so it's all theoretical.
Mm-hmm. Nick, you mentioned Tony Pollard, a big-time addition in the offseason for the Titans, a guy that a lot of people here locally in Memphis know because of his time with the University of Memphis. There's been a lot of talk about what this backfield will look like with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. What have you seen at practice through fall camp? What will the run game look like with those two young backs in the backfield?
It'll look like those diagrams you saw in high school of cellular mitosis. Like, these guys, they are stylistically as close to carbon copies of one another as you'll find in the league. Tyjae jokes that when he was getting ready for the NFL draft and he got his draft report back, his player comp was Tony Pollard. Like, the two of them do have a lot of similarities, and the Titans' announced company line is that they are 1A and 1B. There is no starter. There is no rep share plan. They're going to go with the hot hand. Whoever is playing better, whoever's legs are ready, is going to be the running back. And there's not going to be a Tyjae offense and a Tony offense like there was last year with Derek versus Tyjae, or like Tony's probably used to with him and Zeke Elliott. There's not going to be a, well, here's the offense when number 20 is on the field, and here's the offense when number 2 is on the field. Get used to seeing them used interchangeably. I would be a little surprised to see them used at the same time all that often. But I do think that Tony's probably in for a bounce-back season. Mm-hmm. If you look at his best years in Dallas, he was much more successful when he was able to share the load. Being a feature back is a lot more taxing on the body, and it's easier to stay fresh when you're touching the ball 15 times a game instead of 25.
Saturday,
so if he gets that opportunity, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Saturday night, the Titans will be at home against Darian Newsom, our great producer's 49ers, and we know what the 49ers can do. Saturday night, what do you want? What are the Titans trying to do other than not get anybody injured and show too much? And who really needs to show out to maybe make the team?
I think that the main phrase you're going to hear me say is proof of concept. All of this is new. It's not just a first-time head coach. It's a first-time offensive coordinator. It's a first-time defensive coordinator. It's a first-time special teams coordinator. Everything is new. I think I counted 45% of the roster is players who were not on the team last year, and that's to be expected with practice squads and cut days and all that stuff. But nevertheless, a lot of very new faces. Half of the players who started 5 or more games for this team last year are not on the team anymore. You got to prove that everything you went out and did this offseason was for a reason. So I'm not saying go out there, show your full offensive scheme, show your full defensive scheme, but they need to go out, they need to operate, they need to function, they need to show that these players can be on the field together and it makes sense and it's not just a mishmash of 11.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I don't really have too many goals. If Will Levis throws a touchdown, awesome, great for Will. If he doesn't, I'm not too concerned. Let's get on to the real season.
Right.
But prove to me that you can line these guys up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, there was some interesting news coming out of the Titans. Offensive lineman Sadiq Charles announced his retirement from the NFL. I was seeing on social media that this was a guy that was likely going to be a starter for the Titans this year. What have you heard about that situation and what went into his decision to step away?
Yeah, Titans are keeping it pretty close to the vest. Sadiq's not really talking yet. Can't say too much about why it happened. He had missed a couple of practices for personal reasons. Teammates today talked about he was a great teammate. He was a great locker room guy. They're sad to see him go, but they just hope everything's okay. I will echo that. I hope everything is okay. But yeah, it's a surprise. You never expect a 25-year-old who just signed with the team in free agency to recuse himself of football in the middle of training camp. It's a surprise situation. He'd at least been splitting time with the first team throughout training camp. He had a really significant chance of starting at that right guard spot, but such is life in the NFL. They have 2 players on roster, in Dylan Ravens and Daniel Brunskill, who have experience starting at guard in the NFL, along with a cadre of available undrafted rookies and swing tackles and stuff like that. So we'll see how it kind of progresses from here. You feel for Sadiq, you hope everything is okay, but the Titans don't really have time to mourn the loss of a player who might have started when there's 53 roster spots up for grabs.
Nick, this time last year, do you think you could have been convinced, maybe not surprised that the Titans made a move, maybe very surprised that the Titans move away from Mike Vrabel, but this time last year, the idea of Mike Vrabel not being a head coach in the NFL, could you have been convinced of that a year ago?
Probably not. I could have been convinced, but I wouldn't have understood it. Like, it is fundamentally surprising, but I think if you look at the enduring lesson of the last 2 or 3 years of coaching searches, it's that teams are not opting for that Belichickian one guy at the top model anymore. If you look at the Lions, for example, they have preached this idea of extreme collaboration, extreme togetherness.
Great example.
And that is less what Vrabel's trademark is. Now, I'm not saying that trademark will never be the thing again, but I do think that it's very... sorry, my wife just called me 3 times in a row. I might have to get this off in a second. But yeah, I think that it's really interesting how league dynamics have kind of shifted away from guy at the top.
How many have that power? Sean Payton's got it in Denver, doesn't he?
He might. And I'm not even talking about general manager power. I am talking about the ability to say, we're doing things my way. And I think that is a valuable thing for some teams to have. It's great for one person to have a singular vision, but unification versus singularity is definitely something that we're seeing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend, week 1 of preseason play, to see what these Titans show in the preseason, getting ready for the regular season. But, Nick, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
All right. I'll talk soon.
Thank you, Nick, very much. Nick Suss with us from the Tennessean, covering all things Titans. The scoreboard is the least important thing.
Yes.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, no coach is going out there saying, "Oh man, we
What's the most
won by
important
this
thing?
much."
Development, injury report.
Yes, injury report, development, seeing what you got.
As
with
Nick
these
said,
guys.
get us in a right place.
Yes, and I mean you're going to see
for Will Levis.
Sure, and you're going to see, with every team it's different. I mean with the Titans, with new head coach and new weapons and a lot of new, you've got a young quarterback that, yes, he played a lot last season, but it's going to be his first year being the game one, week one starter. For the Titans, it's going to be a lot of, all right, let's work on these formations. Let's see what we have. Let's work on these connections between quarterback and receiver, quarterback and running backs. But, for a team like, the Darian's 49ers, it's going to be what kind of depth do we have? What player can step up?
They mostly know what they have.
They know what they have.
We don't have a number one receiver anymore.
Well,
he's in Pittsburgh. Well, he's been agreed to go to Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's done?
Ayuk, no, they verbally agreed to it. They hadn't been taken, transaction hadn't happened. But we agreed this morning to send Ayuk to Pittsburgh.
Interesting. So, yeah, it felt like Pittsburgh. I've been saying that for a while, and I know mainly because Bo Marchant was saying for a while that he felt like Pittsburgh was going to be a landing spot. See, I didn't see that. I saw this morning that the Patriots were out of it, that he did not want to go, which
makes sense.
Can't blame him. I mean, who wants to? When you're a guy of that caliber, why would you want to go to New England right now?
Don't tell me money, because it's going to work itself out.
It definitely is going to work itself out. You want to go somewhere that can compete, and certainly Pittsburgh gives you a better opportunity. Cleveland, which was another one of those teams, gives you a better opportunity. I'm curious to see what comes back from Pittsburgh.
Got to be first
I am
rounder.
as well.
When I saw a couple people maybe saying that maybe Calvin Austin could be involved in a trade, and I'd be really interested to see him in that 49ers system, because we know it feels like 49ers can get something out of everybody on their roster.
And put Calvin Austin and have him kind of Debo Samuel light.
Yeah, I mean, I think could really fill that role. So, it's gonna be interesting to see how all of this works itself out for Debo.
And now Ricky Pearsall hurt.
Yeah, that's
for the third time.
Yeah, I was about to say, it feels like I've heard that headline before since he's been drafted by the 49ers. But I really am. I'm excited for preseason action tomorrow night.
Me too. In watching the games, I like it just for the NFL dialogue, because the research that they have, the notes, the information they have, if they convey it, you can really learn about a lot of these teams.
Absolutely.
Never mind the scoreboard. I'm going to ask y'all the question I asked asked Nick about Mike Vrabel.
Sure.
I'm floored.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty floored he's not the coach of the Titans. I thought he was the long-time guy, would have a Jeff Fisher, maybe more run with the Titans, out from being on a team anywhere.
Yeah,
running a team anywhere.
I'm with you, because I think very highly of Vrabel and the coaching job that he does. So it is surprising that he's nowhere, but I do think it's going to be a quick year off. I definitely think if Mike Vrabel wants to be an NFL head coach, I think next year he'll have
I think he's
a
proven
job.
he's no one's assistant.
No. I think you take this year off, and then next year, who knows what jobs will be open? Maybe it will be him and Belichick.
Maybe Chicago.
Battling each other. Maybe Chicago.
Ohio State won't go that crazy, will they?
Oh, I see all those headlines. I hear all that outrage of, oh, man, we've got a hot seat at Ohio State. I do not buy it at all.
One regular season loss for Ohio State and maybe a playoff loss max?
Maybe, yeah. But
what if he had 3? 2 regular season, no playoff, go to the Citrus Bowl and lose?
You still can't do better than Day.
It'd be tough. I mean, but Vrabel might be, I don't want to say better than
Chip
Day,
Kelly warming up the bullpen, too.
You do have Chip Kelly.
Buckeye Land.
You certainly have options out there.
And Chip Kelly never really liked having to recruit, and you don't really have to
You don't
recruit.
have to recruit.
That's right.
Now, do you?
Yeah,
Some.
a
Not a lot.
little bit, but certainly not as much.
But in the
as you
state
had
of
to.
Ohio and western Pennsylvania, across the Midwest, here's Ohio State sales pitch. We're Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
And the Ferraris are parked
Ohio.
outside.
You think you're getting past me with that?
Yeah,
Come
no.
on.
I mean, yeah.
And now,
got made for you.
Go outside to the Aston Martin lot.
Exactly. Yes.
What is Shedeur Sanders driving?
Who knows at this point? I mean, it's certainly
Rolls
something
Royce, isn't it?
expensive.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Probably
I mean, I
is.
wouldn't.
I mean, name a luxury car.
Great.
He probably has several in different brands.
Can you imagine rolling around in
And
cars?
Travis Hunter probably has a
In a
vehicle
Rolls?
better than him.
Can you imagine rolling around now in a Rolls?
No, I could not. I could not imagine it.
I've never been in one.
I'm glad though, Darian, that you brought. I haven't either. I'm glad.
I don't know that I've ever.
I'll make that three of us. We've never been in a Rolls Royce.
I don't know that I've ever been within arm length of one. Just one pulling up at
I don't think so.
at the hotel and
Can't say I
Mr.
have.
Whoever, here's your car.
No, I can't say I have. No, I'm trying to think of the most luxurious car I have been in or around.
A cardiologist friend of mine, in his first kind of crazy money after he started rolling, he bought an Aston Martin.
Okay, well, that is certainly luxury right there.
Yeah, and I sat in it.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I can't even think. Nothing super luxurious. Can't say I have. But Darian, I'm glad you brought up Chicago because I think this could be a big year for Matt Eberflus one way or the other. If you go out there and, the Bears struggle with the team they have, that young
So you have to get in the
number one
playoffs?
quarterback.
Pull a C.J. Stroud?
I mean, he might, and it could be a tricky season for him.
So Hard Knocks was good?
Hard Knocks was really good.
It was really good.
But I always love Hard Knocks. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me not to enjoy Hard Knocks at this point.
The outtake, just the little bit I saw Coach Saban not talking harshly to Matt Eberflus, but he was very much in control.
Yes.
It very much felt like mentor
Yes.
and mentee to me. And I mean,
And I saw replies on the X machine of how can he? What's he know about pro football? Come on, he
I thought he was giving vital information. Like if Eberflus was picking up what he was putting down.
Here's
I
what
thought
he
it
knows
was vital.
about the NFL: all the players he put into it.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I saw one Auburn respondent
Love that.
wanting to crack on what's Nick Saban know about football, and the Alabama responder to them, you need to set this one out.
Yeah, no, this is not a good fight for you. Yeah, no, I think, if you can get Nick Saban in your offices, no matter what level,
he would
you're
eventually
at,
won in the NFL.
He definitely would have. No doubt about it. So no, I thought
And had one good year.
Yeah, he definitely did. So I thought, was given some good information to Eberflus and kind of, it definitely felt like, hey, mentor, give me some advice on how to approach this.
Well, I'd sure be listening to him.
Star quarterback,
If
absolutely.
he speaks about football,
you definitely.
I'm all
listen.
ears.
Absolutely. So that was fun. A little cameo from, not even a cameo. It was a big part of the episode last night was Nick Saban coming in and the dialogue they had.
At the end of this year, he's going to be the story of game day taking back full control.
I think you're right.
From Big Noon.
I think you're right. What a great addition for Big Noon, and I think it's going to be a slam dunk for them. Should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it, and getting that whole team together will be a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on the shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding and a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, you get it done. Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings are down an extra 20% below Genesis everyday price.
That's right, the vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the gold standard of diamond buying, certified accuracy and documented quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event. 8 karat up to 20 karat stones.
Ships, cards, and bonds are on special price memberships and price prices prices. Extra value price on a GIA. Purchase engagement ring. Selection is Genesis Diamonds. GIA Diamond Extend.
Save an extra 20% on this pair of precious diamond rings. Now for a limited time.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Extends as sometimes.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports. Former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We still got heavy traffic flow over here in a couple of spots like 240 eastbound from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. It's running pretty heavy as well on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Once you get on out into Fayette County, watch for a little bit of radar out there. They've been out there on and off today. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, in the last segment, we were talking about expensive cars and how close we came, and Darian was very silent the entire time, and then hit us with a picture of him right next to a Rolls Royce. How about that?
Exterior only, gentlemen.
okay.
Exterior
Well,
only.
it's close enough. I
Close
guess.
counts.
Closer than I've ever gotten.
Could have been a salesman. I was that close.
There you go. Yeah, I could see it. Selling some Rolls Royces. Why not? I love that.
What color was it?
Black.
Oh, that's
Very
great.
good.
I love that. Well, I'm glad we talked about that in the last segment because we were talking about Colorado and some of those guys and what type of wheels they've got. Have you seen the Colorado football controversy over the last 24 hours with their social media team? Might be a couple
I don't think I have.
Might be a couple controversies going on with Colorado football right now, but this is the social media one. A lot more fun than maybe the other controversy going on. So they posted a video. Let me see if I can pull the video up of Shedeur Sanders dropping back and throwing a pass to a wide receiver. Well, then while the ball's in the air, they cut to a different clip from behind the end zone of the player catching the ball. And if you watch the video, it does not look like it's the same play that he's throwing the ball that the guy catches it. So
Okay, haven't I seen a lot of people kind of mimic that?
You've seen a
around
lot of people
college football?
today. I saw Arkansas do it earlier today. A lot of people are doing the same
And I
exact
sent
thing.
to a Razorback friend of mine, I said, I told you Taylor could make every throw. And he sent back, he said, Brett, you got had. You've been fooled.
You were fooled. So this is the original video that was posted yesterday, and very poor. I know this is an audio medium, so nobody else can see this video. But and now, of course, it's not going to come up. But here we go. So Shedeur drops back, and of course, we're going to stop again. So he makes the throw.
And it goes to somebody else.
And we completely jump cut, and it does not look. I've slowed it down multiple times. It does not look at all like the receiver that he's targeting is the same guy that made the catch, or is even in the same area. Well, so now everybody was clowning him last night for
I got it. Clown
so
him.
then today,
And I'm the big
same
clown. I
thing.
bet.
Well, you did buy it. I did see that from Arkansas today. But now Colorado has tweeted the actual videos, full-length videos. And sure enough, it is the same clip.
So
Believe none of what you hear and some of what you see.
So why did they splice it like that?
Because I guess the video where it's all together, you can't really see the catch. It's like very much in the background. And
Tell me Dion didn't go crazy over it.
I didn't see anything from Dion today. But yeah, I mean, so it's the same video, which is incredible. Because, like I said, I mean,
it looks fake.
It looks extremely fake. It took over social media last night with everybody just going, is this really where we've gotten Colorado, where we are editing clips to make this team look good? But I guess...
Final thought. Is it real?
It's
Is it real?
It's definitely real.
Really?
I mean, looking at the videos they posted of the full thing, it is definitely...
AI has something in it.
So you think it's AI? Okay.
Of course.
All right. I like that.
It's everywhere.
AI is taking over, Brett.
Man, I'm really not here right now.
No. This is we're AI.
It's very artificial.
Yes, very very artificial.
It's very lack of intelligence, though.
Well, I don't know about all that. Some other things I wanted to get to during what's trending.
We did this show 3 weeks ago.
We did. We loaded it up into AI, and
we've got the whole fall in the can. We can tell you everything that's going to happen this football season.
We just talked for 6 hours, and then we put it into the.
Wait till they hear what happened at Team USA. Just wait.
When I say it, 5:35, 11, 12, I did it 2 months ago.
Exactly. Yes. This is all AI. Some other things around. Yeah, you got to put that in there. Other things going around the sports world today. Charles Barkley announced yesterday that he was sticking with TNT. We thought this year was going to be his retirement tour. That's what he said a couple months ago. But now it's come out. He said he's going to stick it out. Money definitely talks.
And being really good at something.
Definitely. And so now TNT.
He can't live without basketball.
Well, yes. And with TNT and the NBA kind of in flux right now, a lot of questions on what's happening. We've seen Charles Barkley on college basketball when the tournament rolls around. We've seen him with some of those golf events that TNT has. But now I've seen reports that TNT's kind of floating the idea
do their own thing
of just a generic sports. We'll talk any sports with that NBA Tonight crew. And
I can remember at one time we had CNN SI
crew
kind of under the TBS TNT banner. That was a long time ago. It didn't go over well.
So do we think inside the NBA
can survive without the NBA before? Absolutely.
Just a sports show.
Absolutely. Because they have the steam room.
Yeah.
Chuck and Ernie has the steam room already that they're, you bring in
Would
Shaq.
you do a pregame and a postgame show?
They could.
Sure could.
They could.
They could.
I don't think you have to have the ball game. Yeah, I don't think you have to have the ball game because so many people probably get off work and just catch up with them only. I being one of them, because the games are so many and so plentiful, you kind of don't miss the product. You miss them, not the product.
Darren, I mean this respectfully. You know the TV business.
Yeah.
I mean you live it and you work it.
Yep.
Sure.
That's a great idea.
That's a great. Now, okay, so now, and answer me this. Okay, so let's just say we have a 6:30 tip-off on ESPN. Or we'll even go minor than that. Amazon Prime's carrying the game tonight. 7 p.m. tip. No, let's go back to ESPN. do you go right before the game like you would run with TNT and rival NBA Tonight on
They
ESPN?
already do it. It's on NBA TV.
For no
NBA TV has a
that's
pregame
true,
every
yeah.
game
For no other
regardless
reason.
of the
Yeah, but
station.
nobody's watching.
And y'all left
Nobody's
us out.
watching it, but if you replace them now,
People would watch
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I occasionally watch NBA. Sometimes I forget about it.
And that's the thing.
You
But
don't-
you're not
you
going to
don't-
forget about Inside the NBA.
And you do it for no other reason. So y'all left us out. Well, here we go.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I like that idea. That's a
But
really good
money
idea.
talks, though. Like you said.
Certainly
Yeah,
does.
it does.
They're going to find a way to make this work.
Yeah,
And it's going to be great.
and every language, money talks.
It does. You're absolutely right about that. So that was some big news yesterday. Big news today in the NBA. Lauri Markkanen has signed a 5-year, $238 million
Well-known Grizzlies killer.
contract renegotiation and extension.
He made most of that off of Memphis.
He definitely made a lot of it off of Memphis. This includes $220 million in new money, and it also makes him untradeable for the entire 2024-25 season.
And Brian, remember during COVID and the NBA having to go out and get that almost $1 billion line of credit?
Oh, yeah.
That seems like a lifetime ago.
It absolutely does. It feels like forever ago.
But the leadership.
It's unbelievable. You know, when you talk about leadership in terms of just groups, commissioners, NBA is right there at the top with what Adam Silver does, and really in everything when it comes to player relationship, when it comes to
Labor
team
peace.
relationship, labor peace, from top to bottom.
No rain, no rainbows. You have to have labor peace.
Exactly. He has been unbelievable and gets things done.
And they're not done. They're saving Las Vegas for LeBron.
You're absolutely
We're going to
right.
have honorary 2028 LeBron. As you, they're not done.
right.
They're not done by a long time.
And when I said earlier that in '92 Magic Johnson was a ceremonial player, I think I prefaced it enough to say I wasn't cracking on him. He could not help those very unfortunate circumstances that now I don't know that he would be sidelined.
Right.
Or should be.
Certainly.
Because we've learned so much more. But LeBron in 2028, that would be ceremonial, and I would be fine by it.
Be completely fine with it.
Especially after he's performed this well. Like, at worst, he would be Halliburton. Like, come on.
Hey, watch him, Halliburton.
So, how many more years? He's through at the end of 27?
Yeah, I think he's got 2 more years.
25, 26 for sure.
Definitely.
So he's through at the end of 27. He stays in adequate shape to perform for the 2028 Olympics.
For sure. 100%. And
even 26. And we think for sure he's going that.
Definitely. So I think,
At 43, he could be Xavier Tillman. The role that he played in Boston, he could still do that at 43, 44.
I definitely think he can.
Big. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I mean.
Just give you a couple minutes.
Yes.
Just we need a couple minutes. Hey, LeBron, get out there, and he'll be productive.
A little bit, though, like Tiger, would he want to be out there?
That's a great question.
Diminished.
That's a good question. And it's hard. I mean, when you are a player of that caliber,
when he goes to that locker room after the game, they hand him that stat sheet and he sees 2, 1, and 4.
Yeah, it's tough.
Is that going to be enough?
It might not be, because when you're at the top of your game, like he is, like Tiger was, it's hard to take that role on.
Tiger sees 76 and he goes, I remember when they were reversed.
Absolutely. So now that's a really good question.
Brett, I to you both, I can pretty much, as long as he's in a Laker uniform and he retires in a Laker uniform, the fact that Kobe had 60 on his last game, not saying LeBron will hit 60 in his last game, but he won't go out in a diminished way just because I don't think he's built like that. I don't want to see it. I don't think he's built that way.
I think he needs to top Kobe's 60.
You think he can get 60? That's.
I mean, if we go about the same way Kobe got his 60, then
just let him go.
Exactly.
Just let him go.
Every time you bring the ball up, you just give it to him and let him work. And then late in the game, you're up by so much, the other team doesn't care at that point.
Well, that's who people were going to see.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think he goes out with a bang. Regardless if it's 60, I don't think he goes out 2-4-1. I can't,
No, that would
don't
be,
want to see that. No, we don't want to see an area code.
No, I definitely don't. So tomorrow we've got men's semifinals for Olympic basketball, 10:30 our time, we'll have France and Germany. And then at 2 o'clock our time, United States and Serbia. We've already seen this matchup twice in the exhibition. It was fairly competitive. The first game of the Olympics these two teams played, and it was very competitive early, very quickly turned into a United States easy victory. Tomorrow, USA will see them again. Brett, what do you think we'll see in that matchup?
Blowout.
I hope so.
And I can't either. Can anybody else name another player other than Jokic?
Jovic, the kid from Miami.
The one with the same name.
The only reason I can say that is because they basically share the same name. Right. So that makes it easy. But
Did you check out France and Canada, the way that France undressed Canada?
Oh, yeah. Well,
they absolutely undressed
them. And then Canada tried to make it close late.
They tried to. They just couldn't get over the hump.
This United States Olympic team will be more fondly thought of in 2 or 3 years than it will be when they're standing on the gold medal stand.
Definitely. 100%.
We get a little time to appreciate it a little more. And like I say about us Cardinal fans, we are spoiled rotten,
of course,
by 92, 96, 08, and other years.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We absolutely are. 16.5. That is the line for tomorrow's game.
Blowout.
They cover it. They cover it. All right, I might have to put some money on it.
Brett, one last thing about LeBron, Olympic LeBron. Mm-hmm. I just thought about it. 2028, he will be going for something. He should be going for the all-time U.S. leading scorer. The same if Kevin Durant is not around. If KD is not around, that gives him something.
LeBron could be going for Oscar Schmidt by then.
Yeah, could. Yeah. Who do you feel more confident in on that 2028 team? I almost think
he'd be 40.
LeBron. Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel more confident that LeBron is on that team
than
Kevin Durant.
I think he gets bored. It's not that he won't be talented. I think he gets bored. I think KD is done in 2 or 3 years.
The idea of injuries could also play a big-time factor for him with kind of that injury history, but that will be...
I got LeBron and Bronny on the...
I got to see KD here as a Seattle Supersonic.
Wow. How about that? I love that. A little supersonic KD.
Was Detlef Schrempf still on that team? Or was he in Indiana by then?
Oh, he was gone.
He was in Indiana. Yeah, he was in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, we need to get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we're wrapping up today's show with Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right. Over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway in the Parkway Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby. At Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway in the Parkway Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Brett, what I learned today is the NCAA putting the hammer down on Jim Harbaugh. I mentioned it earlier. When I saw it earlier this morning, I knew with every ounce of my body that this had to do with new information from the Connor Stallions incident from last year, the scandal that swept the nation, only to find out it had to do with something that happened due to COVID restrictions 4 years ago. And so I think it's hilarious. It's always that, you got to get the last laugh. And, they tried to get him last year with a suspension at the beginning of the season, a suspension at the end of the season. But what does Jim Harbaugh do? He just goes out there and has a perfect season and wins the national championship. And then he says, all right, on top of that, Michigan, it's been fun. College football, it's been fun. I'm heading back to the NFL. And NCAA sitting there going, all right, we got to do something. Here, 1 year suspension. That'll show them. 4-year show cause. I mean, it's just crazy. I highly doubt he's coming back to college football. But if he does, he'll wait that out and come back and still run college football like he did at Michigan.
And he'll win.
Yes.
What I learned today, Framber Valdez was 1 out away from the third no-hitter in 12 days, his second in his career. But it didn't happen. And sometimes no-hitters come in bunches. And last night I thought the Rangers announcers, I thought it was really sad how they handled it. No, they shouldn't be rooting for it. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be happy about it. But to act like you just want the Seager just hit the game-winning home run, I thought they sounded small.
Yes, no, I'm with you on that. I need to go back and watch that because I wasn't able to listen to it, but I definitely wish I could. But what I could have done without today, actually a couple things I could have done without. The first being, really, I mean, I don't understand it. Missouri football, I don't know if you saw this. They were doing player interviews yesterday, and Trevez Johnson came to the media table in a Tennessee State champion shirt. Now, you might ask, is this from his high school? Did he win state championship? No. It says Mizzou Tennessee State Champs, and it has the state of Tennessee with the 4 Division I college football teams that Missouri beat last year: Middle Tennessee State, Memphis, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee.
Glad we're on his mind.
So they are the Tennessee State champs. Memphis catching a stray there for nothing.
Sure
How about that? The other thing I could have done without, and I don't know if you saw this, Brett, but a head coach and a defensive coordinator down at Hoover High School in Alabama have been fired, and there is an investigation going on right now because of the environment that this head coach and defensive coordinator were creating for their football team. I saw a video last night where I guess a player was kind of lacking during a drill and not really giving a lot of effort. And I don't know if this was the DC or the head coach, sprints at him, throws him down, pushes him to the ground, and starts yelling at him over it. There are a lot of accusations of other things that have happened at these practices. Just crazy to see something like that happening, especially at a high school football practice.
All you got to do is run up to him, and the old go-to for coaches, look alive.
There you go. There's also a lot of other ways to
get the lead out.
Get a player to really start trying, and that's not one of them.
Not cool. You cannot lay a hand on them, and you cannot curse them.
No, you can't.
Brett, I don't even suggest running up to them nowadays. You may get cold cocked, like Rudy Tomjanovich style.
I wouldn't get on top of somebody real fast.
This was like a big linebacker.
You've got to watch. I could have done without. In the Cardinal game notes, the old since Mother's Day record for the Cardinals. You know, that notes the Cardinals are kind of slipping back. That was a good one for a while, about the only pride of the year. It's fun talking to Tom Ackerman. And
absolutely.
When Tom Ackerman's rattled, I'm rattled.
Yes, no, I did not like hearing that Monday's loss got to him so much, because that's that not effort. Good. Because yes, and like he said, Tom Ackerman is very positive person.
And a St. Louis native through and through, fan through and through, but calls it like he sees it.
He definitely does. You got to respect him for that. Where you beaming tonight?
Beam me to the Big Apple. I beamed back. I've been there all day for both games of the doubleheader between the Angels and now first place Yankees. And I stay tomorrow night for Lions and Giants at MetLife Stadium in a preseason game that they may have to call that game. There will be so many fights going on.
You might have to.
And the NFL officiating crew has got to get to both of those coaches pregame.
Oh, yeah.
You leave all the practice stuff behind. We're not having 15 personal fouls aside tonight.
That's cute in your joint practice. That can't spill over.
If we got to call a game over weather is one thing.
Yes, we're not doing it over scuffles on the field. But no, that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait, Brett. Hall of Fame game is fun and all. But, man, preseason NFL football, it's back tomorrow night. I can't wait. I'll save that for tomorrow when we get to this segment, because tonight, beam me a couple places I could beam, but I'm going to head out to Seattle. Tigers and Mariners tonight on the diamond. Tarek Skubal, the incredible year he's having for the Detroit Tigers, 12-4 with a 2.57 ERA. On the other side, George Kirby comes in with an 8-7 record, 3.04 ERA. Right now, Seattle, slight favorite, but the Tigers, they put on runs. They know how to win games when Scubal's on the mound.
Aaron Sale on the mound tonight for the Braves. When he comes off that mound, it's all elbows and knees. Did y'all really think I was going to say the other thing? No, I'm not. I know better than that. Elbows and knees coming at you against the Brewers.
That's right.
Also, the Padres tonight. playing the Pirates. The Pirate announcers keep talking about them being in the wild card race. You got to win to be in the race.
Yeah, still work to do for them to be in that wild card race. But you're right, we had a lot of day baseball today, but still a good amount of games tonight in Major League Baseball. A lot of people will be keeping an eye on everything going on with Olympics in prime time over on NBC. And then tomorrow, when we get back on at 3 o'clock, we'll be an hour into USA and Serbia, which will be a ton of fun as well. But enjoy your night. That's all the time we have. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 1-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates.